Clara posted this photo in her Discord server, which was enough for trolls to bombard the hotel with pizzas. The next day, she uploaded a video declaring things had escalated and she was now in hiding. If you recall, another goal of hers was to move out immediately, after someone hacked her Uber Eats account and sent $500 worth of food.
So what happened, I woke up and I got an email that the Uber, the email for my Uber Eats account was changed. And then I looked outside the door and there was like at least $500 worth of food ordered with my hacked Uber account. So I got doxxed again, except this time I also got hacked.
She expedited an already planned trip to Europe. Her rationale was that London police didn't have the resources to stop online trolls. And then she went live to provide further details.
Are you moving to Europe? I'm gonna be living there for a while, but I'm not moving there. My fiance is staying back in Canada, and I'm gonna be in the UK on my own for a while. I think that the current plan is that in 2-3 weeks of my stay, my fiance is going to be coming over and we'll stay together for a while. On Monday, I find out if I got approved or not for the new place that I want to live at, which will give us a really good time frame of what we're gonna do.
Her fans begged her to stop giving out information.
Stop giving out details. Stop telling me what to do.
Later that day, Clara tweeted, "Do I have any followers in Europe? Let me know if you want to meet up." Her first stream back revealed she was in Northern Ireland.
So, I'm okay. I am currently in Ireland. I am staying with a friend. I'm safe. Things are good. Don't tell people what country. It is completely fine. Do you know how dense Ireland is? Very dense country. I do not think it's gonna be a problem.
She was staying with a friend named Ellen. Her ex-fiancé never moved over for reasons we're actually going to discuss later. Ellen had already been doxxed months prior, and their apartment was found within 24 hours. And a troll took this photo outside their building. They were able to find her location just by using a doorknob. To be clear, I'm not endorsing any of this behavior or doing it, or even saying if you're careless, you deserve that this happens to you. My argument is that if you're willing to leave a continent to another continent to escape trolls, there is a lot you could do for less to mitigate the risk of doxing. For example, not buying equipment specifically for IRL streaming and announcing where you're gonna be in advance. At one point, Ellen revealed they were gonna go to visit a poutine truck in Belfast. The owner received bomb threats, which Clara used to tease an IRL stream on Twitter. Hey, maybe it's a one-off mistake, right? A day later, Ellen publicly fielded suggestions for future IRL stream locations in Ireland. I want to reiterate, if you are in hiding, why would you buy new streaming equipment specifically for streaming in the public, and then also share where you plan on going in advance? By her own admission, she wanted to stoke the flames in order to maximize publicity.
By intentionally making myself a lightning rod, so I could make kiwi farms more vicious and attack me to the point where Cloudflare had no choice. Because every time they attacked me, I publicized it. One of the things that I did intentionally for the success of the campaign was make myself a lightning rod. I egged them on. I egged kiwi farms on. I wanted them to attack me. Because by doing that, I was able to show the world how fucking vile they are.
In the past, streamers have been punished for similar behavior. Ice Poseidon was notorious for being a constant target of swatting. He was ultimately banned after streaming and getting swatted inside an airport, and while it wasn't his fault, at a certain point he was clearly feigning ignorance and enabling his troll's behavior for content. What makes Clara's behavior different, and what actually prevented her from staying in Canada? Well, if you think it's fucked up for me to question it, don't worry, because Keffels has since admitted that this entire cover story was all a lie. Nowadays, her explanation for leaving the continent was not to escape online harassment, but to escape her ex-fiancé, Alex, who she now accuses of being abusive. To not get too deep into it, this is after her ex-fiancé called her out for leaving to cheat on her with Ellen.
This is where I need to admit something. Last year, I was in the papers. This was on CBC, Canada's biggest media outlet. Twitch streamer and trans activist says she's leaving Canada for a while due to harassment. Earlier this month, Clara Sorrenti was the target of a swatting incident and has been doxxed and hacked. And there was a criticism that I frequently got throughout that time. How does moving to a different country help you with online harassment? And as we found out, it didn't. Because once I landed in Belfast, I had people showing up, making threats outside of where I was staying. And I knew that no matter where I went in the world, I would not escape online harassment as long as I was an online figure. And the truth is, I left the country because of my ex, and because I was scared of my ex, because my ex was abusive and abused me emotionally and yelled at me and consistently coerced me into sex. That's why I left. But I couldn't tell anyone. I didn't want it to be a big thing. I didn't want it to be in the papers while all the journalists were circling around and writing their stories. I didn't want that to be known. I didn't want any of this to ever be out in public. So here's
Her escape basically amounted to a paid-for vacation across Europe, evident by a leaked post from her closed Twitter circle on September 14th. Clara reveals she was staying in Ireland until the 27th, then heading to Spain until the 11th, before moving into her apartment on the 12th. Now the dates imply that she had already just bought tickets, but she ended up in London instead to watch a play. Clara then briefly returned to Ireland before flying to the United States to attend TwitchCon. Not only did she stream the event IRL, but she even antagonized Destiny's ex-wife for being married to him.
Kevels went to go, and she went up to Melina, and she was shaking. Like, it was like she was so anxious or so angry she was shaking, right? And she said, "Tell your husband, if he doesn't stop coming for me, I'm going to get his YouTube channel deleted." No memes. That happened. Okay.
So Keffels moved into her new apartment on October 12th and used some of the GoFundMe money to pay for a full year's worth of rent in advance.
So just a quick update. I have an apartment for October. I'm moving then. I have it. I've already paid. I'm putting it, I'm using the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year in advance.
Now, which is not something she ever said she was going to do, and a huge departure from just moving. Clara moves into a luxury apartment, and with a low approximation amounting to $28,000. So far, Clara has admitted to spending the money on new devices, as well as equipment for IRL streaming. She traveled across Europe, planning to visit Spain from Ireland, but ended up at a play in London instead. She then flies to TwitchCon in the United States before getting an apartment in Canada and then paying an entire year's worth of rent. There she bought even more equipment to build a professional set with studio lights. While it's difficult to make an exact calculation for this, the gaming chair alone, her gaming chair, would have cost over $2,000.
I had to take extra caution with the set that I made. It's not even a set, it's just like part of my home. But it is basically a set. I have like studio lights, I have like whole camera thing, it's very professional. So I had to go through all of this as soon as I got back from TwitchCon to make sure that I could just like return to my life before I was swatted.
But see, that wasn't the only thing she admits to spending some of this GoFundMe money on. Clara also says she contracted a security company in September to keep herself safe.
I consulted with a security company, and they made all of my devices hack-proof, and they gave me tips on not getting doxxed again. They also helped me with a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't talk about because I signed an NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement. I already hired a lawyer, and all of the information between me and my lawyer is privileged and confidential, and I can't talk about it. So the money towards a legal fund is being utilized. But until the point where I can actually talk about what I'm doing, I can't say anything. So I use the money to find a place, to contract a security company to keep myself safe, and to hire a lawyer.
This raises an interesting question on what the security company was doing beyond making her devices hack-proof. That same month, she confronted a prolific member of the Kiwi Farms thread. Keffels tried to intimidate the user with their personal information, claiming to have hired a private investigator. I know the PI will get me more though, he's still talking to the family and school officials. This didn't work because they doxed the wrong person. The user mocked her and asked if she paid for the PI using her GoFundMe. Clara responded, "No, the GoFundMe is currently in savings until I need to use it." In case you doubt the authenticity of these messages, Clara has confirmed that they are real several times. Now, I don't know about you, but hiring a private investigator so you can confront trolls with bad info doesn't sound like the action of someone in fear of their life. Her messages also contradict a tweet where she says $50,000 was already put into the legal fund. The final thing Clara mentions in that stream clip is using the money to hire a lawyer. What's interesting is that by her own words, she already had a lawyer and was consulting two more, the day after the GoFundMe had launched. It was one of her earliest responses to criticisms over reportedly raising her goal.
Yes, I'm using these funds to move, but more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses. Because I'm not just moving, I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer, and I'm consulting with two more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me, and for every other marginalized person in this country who has been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money, because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that.
This is strange in retrospect, as only 12 days later, she made it very clear she was holding off pursuing legal action against the London police.
After it first happened, I was very mad at the police, and I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against my life very seriously, and I want to see justice. There's a lot of leads right now, and they might actually be able to catch the person who swatted me. And with what is going on and the connections to Kiwi Farms, knowing that they're monitoring the thread, we might actually see something happen.
Now, at around the same time, she told the Kiwi Farms user the money was in savings. She claimed she never said she was going to sue the police.
Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I wanted to be very careful with the language that I used, because I don't know exactly what the plan is. I know that I'm eventually going to take legal action in some way or another, but I don't know yet, and I can't talk about the different things that have been discussed between my lawyer and I.
Now, going back to Destiny's manifesto, this was scrutinized on a much wider scale, which led many to start asking for a breakdown of expenses. Clara refused, because I'm not providing a product to investors, I won't be sharing expense breakdowns. I've been advised by lawyers to keep everything close to vest for legal and safety reasons. Clara rebuked that there was a legal fund. She got an apartment and was now processing the entire event. Now, you're probably wondering, if she wasn't planning on suing the police, why did she hire lawyers, and what was the point of the legal fund? Well, if you read between the lines, some of you might be able to infer what actually happened. On October 2nd, 2022, Clara posted a client engagement agreement to prove legal action was underway. If you look at the bottom, you can see the document reads, "We have concluded a review of our records, and we confirm that we have not identified a conflicting interest in representing you in this matter. We searched the following names that you provided to us as being relevant. The terms they searched for were Clara Sorrenti, Kiwi Farms, and KiwiFarms.net. Now, this proves she was paying money to consult lawyers about a lawsuit against Kiwi Farms, but not the London police. It's dated August 10th, the same exact day as her stream, stating that she'd consulted a lawyer. There isn't actually even a good explanation of why she did this. Kiwi Farms was never mentioned as the intended target of her legal fund. The only entity named in the GoFundMe was the London police. So this took place around the same time she claimed she never intended to sue the police, and if you're wondering why it didn't go anywhere, for as much as people hate Kiwi Farms, the website is entirely legal. There are countless examples of attempted litigation that demonstrate this and why it never actually came to fruition. One thing I also want to address is some people have said, whoa, did you get some of your evidence on the Kiwi Farms? Even if I did, that doesn't make the evidence inadmissible. A lot of the Kiwi Farms evidence is actually cataloged on archive websites that capture a snapshot of a web page and tweets and whatnot. This is to ensure that nothing that I'm showing you is actually altered and it was as it was originally posted. This makes the evidence admissible. It's kind of like saying, wow, did you find that perfectly good piece of evidence sitting in the middle of a neo-Nazi compound? Yeah, trust me, I get the whole building surrounding it is pretty shitty, but that doesn't mean the evidence is inadmissible. It's still perfectly good evidence. I just wanted to address this point because it's a common deflection and one that I absolutely need to nip in the bud.
Suing Kiwi Farms was actually something that I previously considered and was consulting with. I was consulting with lawyers about doing that. And I basically came to the conclusion after looking into it that it's not worth it. There's little I can do as a Canadian to benefit from doing a lawsuit against Kiwi Farms. The only possible lawsuit being a defamation lawsuit, which there is little to no benefit for me to do.
3 days after posting that letter, Claire admitted on a private stream that she hadn't even started yet. Her unnecessary traveling is blamed for keeping her busy, which to me is an admission that she wasn't all that interested in consulting her lawyers.
But now I'm going to be focusing more on the legal things because I'm settled down, I'm back in Canada, and I have time to work on this now. I consulted quite a bit with my lawyers, but we, at the time, were, especially during the campaign, basically unsure of how to go forward, especially because my availability was kind of all over the place.
And that's because this will be a very important issue later. She was still in the process of collecting evidence.
But the problem is right now is that I'm still in the process of I have to collect all the evidence. One of the first steps that you need to do is collect evidence. And if you announce prematurely who you are taking legal action against, it gives that party an opportunity to try and destroy as much evidence as possible. I'm not even going to publicly comment on the party either.
Now, for this to make sense, you kind of have to assume she wasn't talking about the police. In that case, we already know what proof does or does not exist. Her recount can't be proven, and even if we're to believe her, it's hard to argue the police acted out of prejudice. This is brought up by Nicholas Diorio, who got some interesting answers out of her on stream. The first clip is Clara stating she was still engaged in legal action against the police.
I wasn't aware you were still engaged.
I am. It's just like there's been so much shit that happened, and then like immediately after like getting back from everything, I had to move, and I like just got unpacked like 2 weeks ago.
Claire describes a specific incident in which she was dead named while being put in handcuffs. However, she admits it could have been an honest mistake, and the officer didn't know what a dead name was.
Now, there are questions as to the dead naming taking place. They claim they have no footage of you being dead named once you get back to the precinct. And you claim there was dead naming, so the only time that could have happened is during the swatting itself. Is that still something that you claim?
Yeah, that was something that happened with the constable that arrested me, like when I was actually being put in handcuffs.
Look, I don't have a problem with spicing up the story a little bit, but, and I understand the like how this upset you and your family, but it really does sound like you kind of slandered those cops. Like, I
don't think I slandered them. I mean,
if
like,
we're taking them at face value, right? For that they thought when they were going into your house that they were like potentially dealing with somebody who is planning to shoot up a like public office building or something like that with like politicians, then like it's totally possible that they thought that was your name, like that you went by that name. So
I mean, no, because the email. Did you read the email?
Yes, I did read
the first sentence of the email is, "My name is Clara Sorrenti."
But then it was signed with your dead name.
It said, "My name is Clara Sorrenti," and then my dead name is blank, and they put the dead name. So they made a decision at that point that they thought that my name wasn't actually my name and dead name was a real name. The officer that actually like arrested me said she did not actually know what a dead name was.
Now this is where the story starts to take a very drastic turn. In the same private stream, Clara states that she had 2 years to take legal action due to the statute of limitations. Her plan was to start sometime in December or January of 2023.
A timeline of how things are happening. I have a total of 2 years to take legal actions. That's the statute of limitations. I want to start before this year ends, ideally. Like if I can kick things off in December or in January in the new year, that would be ideal. That's when I want. I talked to my lawyer today, and it's looking like January is the month where I'm going to be filing against the London Police Service. Once the video is out, everyone will know like all of the details of the case going forward. I've already been told that the case that I'm about to start could take up to 5 years.
This never came to fruition, with the activist drifting away from politics and stoking the flames of online drama. She started fighting with people like Keemstar and her own community, to the point that Drop Kiwi Farms officially denounced her. Her self-destructive behavior drew a lot of concern, which eventually led people to discover that she'd actually relapsed into addiction. It was leaked publicly on February 19, 2023, and a few days later that Clara admitted herself to inpatient rehab. Now, I'm not here to shame Keffels about her addiction. It's important for people to take recovery very seriously. But the timeline of events also can't be ignored. The relapse occurred after the attempted swatting. Clara says after settling into her new apartment in October, she began drinking excessively. And at the start of 2023, she started doing full-blown Colombian. And I'm not talking about no coffee boy.
I got really depressed. I lost interest in politics. I lost interest in basically all of the things that helped me build a platform in the first place. And around the end of 2022, I started drinking, which made me spiral. It was around the time that I was in fights with Keemstar. I started drinking, and then as more and more shit started happening, I started doing cocaine at the start of 2023.
Near the end of the month, she went on an 8-day coke bender, before finding out that some of that coke was, I guess, cut with meth.
8 days into a cocaine bender, I found out that the coke that I was doing was cut with meth. So for 8 days straight, I was doing coke and meth.
This took place a few days after she had said the dreaded R word, ooh, which she later blamed on withdrawals, apparently. Her spiral worsened as she started doing coke, meth, benzos, while attempting to buy H on the dark web.
Started doing coke and meth and benzos, and I was planning on ordering him from the dark net.
After the backlash, Clara went into rehab on February 22nd. In the next few days, I will be admitted to rehab. The doctor said that because of the drugs I'm addicted to, without medical supervision, detoxing will kill me. Now, I'm inclined to believe her on this, given that she didn't return until about a month later. Clara later admitted that she spent more money going to rehab than she ever had on actual drugs.
I was in rehab for 34 days before I discharged. I went to the Addiction Rehabilitation Toronto facility, and it was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made.
While Addiction Rehab Toronto doesn't have prices listed on their sites, aggregators like Recovery.com price a 30-day stay at the facility at $20,000 Canadian dollars. And that is a fourth of the entire dollar amount. It's hard to believe that expense, on top of buying enough drugs to end up there in the first place, had no bearing on how that GoFundMe money was used. One of her mods admitted the habit went a bit into the fun money at the end. However much a bit is, we might never know. Her relapse began right as she was supposed to initiate legal action, that by her own admission hadn't even started. Remember, she was apparently collecting evidence to beat the statute of limitations, and after a vacation across Europe, new stream equipment, TwitchCon, hiring a private firm, security firm, and private investigator, consulting lawyers about kiwi farms, and paying an entire year's worth of rent because fuck it, why not, she spiraled, necessitating a month-long stay at a rehab facility that cost approximately $20K USD. Sorry, hold on a minute. I'm having a little brain fart. Canadian dollars, okay, big difference. With the latter beginning in the exact time frame she claimed to finally take action against London police. Now, of course, there is one last hope for the GoFundMe money going towards anything vaguely resembling those initial stated goals. In April of 2024, Keffels' lawyer, Justin Anisman, filed a complaint against London Police Services with the Canadian Human Rights Tribune. The application hereby argues she is the victim of discrimination by London Police Services, referred to henceforth as LPS. Now, of the 5 examples given, 3 of them discuss her dead name being used in their records. This is true, and acknowledged by London Police in their first statement. The complaint further alleges LPS officers used her dead name and gender. During the arrest, this cannot be proven as no body cam footage exists. In a private conversation, she explained pushing body cams was one of her main goals. If I could get one thing from all of this, it would be body cams, since the police didn't even have them in my hometown. There is no evidence where she is well aware of, hence why her last point is actually kind of bizarre. The complaint introduces an entirely new accusation and has somehow gone unmentioned so far. Clara alleges that an officer groped her breast and said, "Yeah, it's a she." The fact that we haven't heard about this before is insane. It completely changes the narrative. This realistically should have been her leading story, since it's also at gunpoint apparently. If true, the interaction recontextualizes every claim of dead naming. It also makes her behavior afterward much stranger, given that she seemed to forgive LPS in favor of pursuing action against kiwi farms.
Lawyers. Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I basically had to make peace with it. Like, after it first happened, I was very mad at the police. And I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them. But they've taken the threat against my life very seriously. And I want to see justice.
Now, this is in stark contrast to the reduced feelings and security described by Clara as a result of her inability to trust LPS. This impacted her ability to earn a living. In the 6 months since the events at issue in this application, Ms. Sorrenti has seen a reduction in income of more than 25%. That document further alleges that their treatment of Clara left her unable to leave her home. By the way of example, she feels incapable of leaving her home or socializing productively with friends and family out in the community because of a fear that LPS will continue to discriminate against her. This is patently untrue, given that the time frame is when she traveled across the world. It also doesn't make any sense to blame London police for that reduced income. And it only gets crazier when you realize the complaint seeks $125,000 in damages. Accordingly, the applicant seeks the following remedies: a declaration that the LPS discriminated against the applicant contrary to Section 1 of the Code, in order for damages of the injury to applicant's dignity, feelings, and self-respect in the total amount of $75,000, and in order that LPS compensate the applicant for the loss of income suffered and other special damages incurred as a result of the discriminatory plus interest therein in the amount of $50,000. Now, I can't claim to know the intricacies behind the actual lawsuit over here and the Human Rights Tribunal. To be honest, I've tried researching this and I've called around as much as I can, but obviously information on a case, if it's pending and ongoing, isn't going to be shared, nor is the status really something to be handed out about. But at the end of the day, I'm not a lawyer, so me digging into this isn't necessarily going to do much more than you would expect. But that being said, okay, with all of this brought up, this is, I guess, the only last Hail Mary that we have. And if you ask Keffels, the reason they decided to go with the Human Rights Tribunal rather than a lawsuit is because the Human Rights Tribunal has unique powers that a civil suit does not. In Canada, if they were simply to do a lawsuit, all they would get is money. They are apparently pushing for police body cam, which is the complete goal right there. And papers have been processed and they are awaiting dates to appear in the tribunal. And I'm told this could take a minimum of 2 years at best, and 6 years at worst depending on if this gets escalated to a higher judicial body. So again, I'm not an expert in the HRTO, and this section might be tricky, and because Keffels is, I guess, quiet these days, I'm blocked so I wouldn't really know. There might be updates to this, there might not be, okay? But to end this section off, to recap, Keffels deliberately tried to raise as much money as possible. None of her reasons make any sense. She didn't need to move and used the money for a vacation in Europe, it seems. She didn't just use the fund for moving expenses, but a full year's worth of rent, something she never said she was gonna do. And as far as we can tell, she had no tangible losses. All of her possessions were returned within days, and the legal fund was for a nebulous lawsuit that has changed targets twice. The closest we saw to any actual legal action was that HRTO complaint, which doesn't even require a lawyer and is completely free. It's unlikely to go anywhere since she apparently has no evidence, no credibility, and seemingly no actual legal standing. Okay, so now that we've covered the swatting and her GoFundMe, let's talk about her campaign to drop Kiwi Farms. An important thing to recognize is that this is a public discussion forum. You can see what people are saying, and that also means it's difficult to prove something was their fault if they didn't brag about it on the site. To be clear, they're not innocent whatsoever. They're not entirely innocent. They collect and organize personal information, and I would never argue that they don't harass people. We can prove Kiwi Farms users doxed her old house and one of the hotel rooms. However, they weren't the main culprit. There is a completely different site that actually took credit for the harassment that veered into actual criminality. For the sake of not promoting it, we're going to be referring to this website as Website Zero, like others have before who've covered this topic. If you've read the thread closely, you'll discover Kiwi Farms users don't find out about the swatting until after her GoFundMe. On August 21st, Clara's Uber Eats account was hacked and she blamed Kiwi Farms. The next day, a post was made on Website Zero taking credit. She showed a receipt for the order as part of the docs. This post also included phone numbers, accounts, addresses, emails, and passwords belonging to Sorrenti, as well as many of her family members. The doc stayed pinned from the date it was created until September the 4th. It was being worked on publicly since March 28th, and with users actively calling for others to track her down. Despite this, Clara continued to blame Kiwi Farms instead for hacking her account, her Uber account, even directly calling for Cloudflare to halt services in response to the hack. From here, she makes a decision to move to Northern Ireland to flee online harassment. And it's important to know that Kiwi Farms was down from August 26th to August 29th. Website Zero identified her location on August 26th thanks to that doorknob. Keffels blamed the Kiwi Farms, calling them out by name on the 29th. The same day she claimed a Kiwi Farms user had identified her location and threatened to show up. She claimed to have identified the user and forwarded their information to the police. And this is true. If this is true, there's no reason for her to believe this individual had any association with Kiwi Farms. The user had been very active across 4chan and the rest of the internet on a variety of easily identifiable accounts. And they've also explicitly stated that they had no connection with Kiwi Farms. She already knew that this person was from 4chan, even showing the original threads in one of her tweets. When we spoke about his plan beforehand, he left comments on Website Zero, and Website Zero was never mentioned once in her account. Clara later claimed that this resulted in another swatting, stating the same thing repeated itself, except Northern Irish police did not put a firearm, did not pull a gun on her. Apparently the police were called to investigate a made-up stabbing. She noted they were very friendly.
This followed me. I leave Canada, now I'm in Northern Ireland. The same thing repeated itself.
Yep.
Except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me, so that's cool. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, no, someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they were knocking at the door. Compared to what happened in Canada when I got an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
Police were calm during this incident because Keffels was not swatted. It was a wellness check from someone afraid she was in danger. The person who contacted police reached out to Destiny to explain they were worried about a stalker. They specifically refute the idea they called in a stabbing. On the H33 podcast, Keffels stated that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing. but that there were no guns when they visited. This link shows the armed response unit, which is deployed for when someone reports a stabbing in active situation. There's a picture there that shows a dynamic entry. Someone with Ellen's background wouldn't realize that Northern Ireland does actually have a history of armed violence, and the PSNI response to what that violence is equivalent to the United States of America. The evidence strongly supports that the story Keffels gave on the H3H3 podcast about being swatted here is utter horseshit. And if you recall, law enforcement began actively investigating the people harassing her. As it turns out, they actually caught them. The harassment was largely perpetrated by a now defunct group on website Zero known as Vile. Vile doxed several people related to #DropKiwiFarms, including Keffels and the owner of the DIY HRT directory. This is easily proven as their signature is present in the pastes themselves. Some of their known techniques include using fake emergency data requests to impersonate government officials. They also use stolen passwords from law enforcement officers to subpoena companies into sharing private information. That info was then used for extortion. This criminal activity is only known because 2 members were arrested and charged in March of 2023. Now, while the group is defunct, as demonstrably law enforcement did their job, the important distinction here, though, is what Vile did was criminal. There is legal recourse for extortion. Amongst the many crimes they committed, Kiwi Farms, on the other hand, is still entirely legal, which is why she has to poison the well against them. Her motivations are especially curious given this DM from August 4th, a day before her swatting, where she flatly stated she didn't want to talk about Kiwi Farms anymore. Later on, Clara admitted she targeted the site not because she was in fear of her life, but because it was opportune timing.
All of us are here talking about like website X. We're all talking about how bad it is, how it's like a secret, how we don't speak the name of it, but everyone knows it and everyone's worried about it. And it's like, it sounds like the perfect website for a campaign for them to get dropped by their fucking service provider. Like, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't think the momentum is there for that, though. Like, with the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, it was just really opportune timing. I had all this media attention on me, and journalists were, like, following every fucking thing I said and did.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know about the second website until they went after me.
Yeah, but when you describe it as, like, a worse version of the same website, but whoa, please don't talk about it, that's crazy.
Well, it's like,
It's very revealing that when a site exists embodying the very thing she accuses Kiwi Farms of doing, her reaction is completely different. While it's reasonable to not want others to find it, that doesn't justify blaming Kiwi Farms for the actions of another separate community. It's her refusal to acknowledge the actions of Website Zero as the actions of Website Zero that necessitates its mention. When asked, she fails to address this in a satisfying way.
Question, Caffels, to you. So basically, if there's another website that's doing things as malicious or more malicious than the Kiwi Farms post, I'm wondering, like, why not draw attention to that website in particular if they seem to be more inherently dangerous?
I don't think they're more inherently dangerous. They also don't have as many active users because the people who, on the other side, the people who do it, they're more technically skilled in what they do. But also because they had more extensive documentation of my family, and I didn't want to put that out there. I think that's reasonable, right? Like, I don't want my family to get hurt.
Sure, if you don't want your family to get hurt, that's fine. But the opposite of what you're saying right now was your justification as to why you have to go after Kiwi Farms. Like, this place is doxing you. This person's posting tons of your information.
Why do you
It's
defend
stalking
Kiwi
you to
Farms
multiple...
so much? I think
It makes you wonder if she wasn't willing to go after the site because she was actually afraid. Why did she target Kiwi Farms in the first place? Why continuously lie about the site being down to your followers? Why accuse anyone with genuine criticism of you as having used the site? Is there something that she was trying to hide? So 47 minutes in, you probably know that I have to address the big, massive elephant in the room, okay? Horton hears a who, boyos. The reason for this is because I don't even think we can begin to have this conversation without showing now definitively that Keffels, as a narrator, cannot be trusted. The conversation surrounding the subject has been intentionally warped and obfuscated. And even questioning it will get you labeled a transphobe, okay? And I'm not a transphobe. I'm bringing this up, okay? This is very, this is a minefield I'm walking in, okay? When we talk about the harassment from Kiwi Farms, it can't be understated that they are transphobic. It's true, there is truth to the idea they'll call just about anyone a groomer just because that they're trans. However, this has allowed Keffels to absolve herself of responsibility of her own actions and pretend as if there's nothing she has personally done for people to distrust her character. Not only that, but she'll discredit any criticism by associating it with Kiwi Farms, the big bad farms. At the end of the day, if documentation exists, then regardless of that source, it speaks for itself. Keffels will hide behind her identity as a shield, accusing anyone who brings up her genuinely questionable behavior as pedo-jacketing. In reality, this is little more than an excuse to avoid accountability, and it's finally time to talk about do-it-yourself hormones and Catboy Ranch. In June of 2022, Clara began sponsoring the DIY HRT directory. For a myriad of reasons, hormone replacement therapy is often inaccessible to many trans people. The directory intends to teach people how to, quote-unquote, safely obtain HRT without a prescription. While some are legitimate pharmaceutical-grade medications simply imported from other countries, the site also offers a number of homebrew sources. They are colloquially referred to as bathtub estrogen, in reference to the actual practice of brewing your own HRT. This guide in particular is linked to Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, which is also listed on the directory. Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals is extremely controversial, for reasons that will become very self-apparent. The packaging is covered in sexualized depictions of young boys cross-dressing. Again, I have to blur this out because it is actually a violation of YouTube's TOS, with text on the box that reads, "Keep out of reach of parents." It's disgusting and clearly falls under the category of shota or loli, which Keffels has given her own opinion of in the past. It's already questionable to endorse what are effectively unregulated drugs. It's even worse to explicitly advocate for their use by minors. Keffels bragged about donating thousands of dollars a year to the site to help people get access to HRT before the age of 18. She said, "I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down." The directory was even added as a link to her website, with an accompanying chat command. By then, she was marketing her community as a safe space for teenagers. As a former trans kid who is now a trans adult, I want to say, to all the young trans people who follow me, I love you, I care about you, and I will fight for you. We will win. There is hope for people like us in this world. They cannot and will not keep us down. I have no opposition to providing safe access to HRT for trans people who need them, right? That's just a thing. If doctors can come in and there's a way to safely do it 100%, get the proper people involved, not me, not Keffels the activist, both of us are clearly not doctors, sure. But it is dangerous to condone questionable individuals with shady histories like Keffels and deceitful messaging to illicitly offer these treatments online, especially to minors. The directory was created by an individual known as Bob Posting, or Chloe. Chloe and Clara have a long history of friendship together. Chloe thanked Keffels for her sponsorship and even got brought on stream to promote the site. She would reply to Clara on Twitter, 1,000 minors on HRT. Her association sparked backlash after people began to notice her bizarre fixation on secretly sending HRT to minors. I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen. No one tell them I've held more than one minor order. I don't groom children, I just show dozens of kids every week how to buy bathtub estrogen with cryptocurrency, and how to hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? The directory does, in fact, take cryptocurrency, and at one point even instructed minors on how to buy Bitcoin. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase Bitcoin for you, or go to your local BTC ATM. Chloe has also referenced minors in relation to an act known as pink pilling, the act of convincing someone that they are trans on multiple occasions. Pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors, and by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out. So when this was brought to the public's attention, several changes to the site were made. They removed Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals and implemented a site-wide age warning. This seems to contradict their explicit advocacy for minors to use the site. 2 days later, Chloe announced she would no longer be involved in the directory. Keffels similarly distanced herself and her sponsorship vanished. She has tried to downplay her accusation ever since, and this is what she had to say earlier this year when questioned about the directory. I gave a wiki site $500 a month and they put my website link in the banner. This was the extent of my involvement. I have never produced or distributed or even purchased DIY hormones. I didn't sell anything to trans minors and I wasn't involved in production or distribution. Claire didn't just endorse it, she was friends with the creator who openly gloated about pink pilling minors. She even joked about it with Clara on stream.
I
saw.
I wanted you on the stream because I have a lot of trans youth who watch the stream, so you gotta like chill your pink pilling stuff.
Wow, I have the perfect resource for you. So, I am pretty well known for those who don't know. People know me for like being knowledgeable about DIY HRT and how to, access DIY HRT. And so I have the site, which people already sending a link in chat, is diyhrt.github.io. If the mods want to like plug that, that would be amazing.
So while Chloe has since disappeared from the internet, there was actually a new development. It was discovered that shortly after retiring, she was convicted for robbing a bank in 2020. On February 14, 2020, on about 7:18 a.m., an individual wearing a surgical mask walked up to the counter at the Scotiabank branch located at and handed a note to a teller. It read, "This is a robbery, you are not in danger. Call the police 30 seconds after I leave the door. Give me all your money, no bug money." The robber handed the teller a box. The teller placed cash in the box and the robber then left the bank with the box of cash. The teller locked the door and told her manager what happened. The police were called. This individual was identified by police as Chloe. The teller placed a GPS tracker device hidden between four $20 bills. And when she discovered this, she tried to hide it beneath some snow. It was quickly found, reported to police, and they retrieved $5,190 in cash, and Chloe was convicted in 2023. Though currently her sentence is unclear, the Criminal Notebook, a free resource on Canadian criminal law, says the average sentence in Alberta for this exact type of crime is 4 years and possibly a fine. And while it's unclear who owns the directory now, it's still around to this day. In fact, they recently added back Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals. In fact, they even added back that filthy Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, clearly waiting for that public backlash to die down. Needless to say, everyone involved in this entire situation has exhibited suspicious behavior at best. So, one surprising development that actually kicked in while I'm sitting in my hotel room right now is apparently one of the actual pharmaceutical groups that was listed on the DIY HRT directory, vanapharma.com, which, by the way, ships domestically only within the United Kingdom, accepts cryptocurrency only, blah, 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 has actually been hit with a pretty bad letter in this regard. So for this is from the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency in the United Kingdom. And if we look closely over here, you can see that we investigate the criminal supply of illegal medicinal products. And during one of our investigations, the following domain name has come to our attention: vanapharma.org. Internationally, every jurisdiction has its own law, blah, 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 blah. So what they actually were hit with over here, the violations, is Regulation 46, where a person may not sell or supply, or offer to sell or supply a medicinal product otherwise than in accordance with the terms, okay? And of course, Regulation 214, which is a person may not sell or supply a prescription-only medicine except in accordance with a prescription given by an appropriate practitioner. And of course, Regulation 279, which is a person may not publish an advertisement for a medicinal product unless one of the following is in force of the product. So yeah, they got hit with something, and again, before anybody in their camp says whatever they were doing with the DIY HOT directory was legal, this is a clear example of how what they were doing was actually not, and it required governmental intervention, and this is a clear example of government regulation kicking in and proving that what they were doing wasn't exactly above board. And it's understandable why many would be dubious of their intentions.
They also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my god. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
Keppels calls anyone who questions her behavior, past or present, transphobic, accusing her critics of pedo-jacketing and groomer libel. When Ethan Klein called her out for defending Bosch's horse folder, she poisoned the well. You had me on your show and called me a hero for fighting against a far-right stalking forum that made multiple people themselves. Now you are using out-of-context clips sourced from the same website to attack people. What's truly disgusting about this is something like pedo-jacketing actually can be a real problem. It would be dishonest to act like baseless accusations of pedophilia against the LGBT community don't actually exist. But once again, Clara uses all of this to avoid accountability for her own actions. Clara, Keffels, your identity is not a shield from criticism, okay? Every time you do this, you actually throw the entire community you're supposed to be advocating for under the fucking bus. And that takes us to the tale of Catboy Ranch. For the longest time, Keffels used to block anyone who referenced Catboy Ranch. It was actually mentioned in the letter that caused her initial swatting. But journalists declined to include it. Clara later used this to justify why no one should look into it. When I was swatted, the swatters mentioned Catboy Ranch and giving children Catboy collars in an email where they impersonated me and said that they were going to shoot up City Hall. It was all Kiwi Farms misinformation. Now H3H3 fans are regurgitating it. The problem with this argument is that ultimately the documentation speaks for itself. Nothing on Kiwi Farms should actually be taken at face value, which is why they find it so important to archive everything. That ensures that the original source exists and allows you to verify the information for yourself. With how much misinformation and perhaps disinformation has been spreading about what Catboy Ranch really is, it's about time we look at the facts and try to understand what it actually was. When I first mentioned the subject on Twitter, she posted a link to the supposed Discord in question. By the way, the server is still up. That is not the original Catboy Ranch server. In fact, it was created in response long after, in June of 2023. The story of the actual Catboy Ranch server starts with a Twitter account she owned by the same name. It was created in 2020. The plan? To create a Twitter meme page directed at femboys so I can herd them all into my ranch. It was somewhat gimmicky with close ties to Vosh's community. Most of the posts were submissions made by either Clara, her friends, or people in her DMs. And the page was overtly sexual, and she did public calls for submissions and invitations. Like this tweet if you want to be added to the Catboy Ranch group chat. It was by any metric an adult space, with pornographic art posted on the account and used as the Discord banner. There are endless, and I mean endless, tweets that are very explicit in nature. For example, my biggest regret about getting bottom surgery is that I never had the chance to nut in a Catboy. I'm coming out as someone who likes to get their prostate slammed and or slamming someone else's prostate. I really wish I was for Catboy until he starts crying right about now. The account reached 8,000 followers by early 2021. It was around this time her page got marked as being adults only. A recurring theme throughout her posts was the idea of ownership, which is when things get really strange as we approach the Discord server. The Catboy Ranch Discord was created in December of 2020. Within 3 weeks, the server amassed over 650 members, partially because she promoted it under her viral tweets. While it doesn't appear any archives of the chat exist, what is public has raised a lot of eyebrows. At one point, Clara shared photos of 2 callers given to members of the Discord, clearly engaging in some form of roleplay. These individuals are adults, and I'm not alleging otherwise. My point is that it's clearly a space for adults, and minors should have been kept away as far as possible. Keffels has reiterated that the server has explicitly 18 plus and required photo ID to join. However, she also stated that photo ID was only required for the not safe for work sections. These are two very contradicting statements. And ignoring the fact that she shouldn't have been interacting with minors on Twitter either, Win, also known as @FemGirlVR, was followed by Clara on both of her accounts. On September 28, 2021, Clara replied to Win calling her very cute. A month later, Win tweeted at Clara complaining she couldn't post nudes because she was 15. Then in November, Catboy Ranch replied to Win acknowledging her age. You are 15, your skull hasn't even fully developed. Win later proclaimed herself a proud member of the cult of Keffels. I just can't get over how much hope you give me. I should be able to start HRT before I'm 16 or once I'm 16. So just knowing that there's the potential I could pass like you does give me hope to keep going. Thank you. Maya, or Femboy Mats, is another minor Clara interacted with on Twitter. Maya claimed to have been a member of the Catboy Ranch Discord whilst underage. Maya said, "Hey, I'm the person involved, there was no grooming." Someone replied, "Who said there was? You were still a minor in Catboy Ranch, which had ID verification." Maya then confirms that only the NSFW sections did. Maya was 16 years old when she began interacting with Keffels. 5 days after she turned 17, Clara replied to her selfie with a meme. "Damn ya ass fat, what's your pronouns?" Clara later tweeted a meme at Maya about taking estrogen and getting erections. In one thread, Catboy Ranch interacts with both Maya and Princess Emily, who was 15 years old. Now, these are highly inappropriate interactions for someone to engage in on their adults-only account at the age of 27. And this is only what we're able to see publicly. It's also worth noting Maya has since argued in favor of underage people lying about their age to people online. Maya turned 18th in January of 2022 and made an NSFW account to post nudes 3 months later. Now, this is where the story gets even darker, because we have to look at Maya's interaction with another user named Danny. Username is SynthIsHere. Danny publicly bragged about getting Maya on DIY HRT when she was a minor. About to start bragging that I got Maya on HRT when she was a minor, Maya began ordering from Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals a month after turning 17. I'm about to take the pink pill, still cis though. This all was with assistance from the DIY HRT directory. A year later, she was so unhappy with her results, she actually called out and blocked Chloe on Twitter. What happened? She got pissed about her hormone results? I mean, that wouldn't be Chloe's fault because that's not something she can control. Everyone reacts differently to that stuff. Also, there's different dosages. The two would end up having an argument about the specifics of HRT. Chloe calls Maya an idiot, and Maya says this: "Fuck DIY, fuck all of this. I don't know how this happened. My regimen didn't change since my last test. I am so done with listening to these quacks online who pretend that they're better than actual doctors." As Maya herself stated, these people are not doctors. And someone like Chloe should not be allowed to posture herself as some kind of authority on the subject. No one without any proper credentials should. Not me, not Chloe, not Keffels, not anyone. Maybe it would be less of an issue if everyone involved in the situation was a legal adult. But as we've demonstrated in the last 5 minutes, they are not. Clara explicitly advocated for the DIY HRT's directory's use by minors, while clearly aware of her friend's activities, behaviors, and history. That only compounded by her constant lies surrounding Catboy Ranch, when even what we can prove already paints an incredibly unsavory picture. There is simply no good justification for why Keffels, while being overtly sexual, was interacting with and befriending underaged fans.
And the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like a community?
Oh, it's like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make me it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. They really are just straight up lying, huh?
Now, there's a lot of misinformation surrounding Catboy Ranch, including the circulation of several alleged screenshots. And to be clear, these aren't from a server Clara owned, but an acquaintance named Femboy Cooking. Femboy Cooking is infamous for saying this: "It's not a choice. We are not asking you. We are telling you we will turn your kid gay." On June 23, 2021, a Twitter thread was made exposing Femboy Cooking's Discord server. A user named Sorrel called it an outright den of grooming. The server had roles to identify both adults and minors, and in spite of this, he caught an adult openly flirting with a 13-year-old and calling them a cute little bottom catboy. When confronted, admins defended the server's practice of allowing underage users. Why would we bar minors from the server on the off chance that they'll be groomed? How if they've been talking about having with men? You can show me where, but your sexuality is a part of you. There's nothing wrong with it. You're kind of the one introducing the adult-oriented element. It's kind of weird. Keffels admits that she was in this server and called the screenshots disgusting. I have absolutely nothing to do with that Discord, and I think that is disgusting. I'll warn people about the Discord. Someone replied, "By that you mean you'll leave the Discord?" And she said, "Already did. I wasn't aware or active about any of this until now." Bruh, I was joking. I didn't know you were a part of it. That changed after the person who made the call out got suspended. Clara celebrated the thread's deletion, even though she admitted it had evidence of an adult flirting with a minor. Those are her own words. A just wrote an entire thread seething about me from behind a block, and tried to get his followers to dogpile my tweet, and then got suspended. People combed through Femboy's Cooking Discord and discovered an adult flirting with a minor, and decided that I am somehow guilty of this. Once again, suspended. This is stunning admission that she helped cover up an adult flirting with a 13-year-old for her own convenience. And there's also no proof that the person who made that thread is a P-word. Early into Drop Kiwi Farms, Clara promoted an artist named ZR Kayla. Kayla is known for running the account Transphobes posting their L's. She faced backlash for knowingly associating with actual zoophiles, including a moderator on @transphobic L's. She also is known for drawing what would some describe as necrozoophile art. Keffels defended her purely on the basis that she had a thread on Kiwi Farms.
But the thing is, like, I know they lie about literally everyone, so why would I believe their claims? Like, they're calling Zerk Hallow a necrozoophile, and it's like, they call everyone everything. Nothing they say is truthful. I have no reason to believe that. You drew furry gore? Look, I personally think that that's kind of weird. However, I don't think you did anything wrong. I can just choose not to look at the part of the internet where people post things like that. As long as no one's getting hurt, I do not care.
Then she calls out every person with the thread on the site to band together. It's probably a good time to bring up that Kiwi Farms has actually put criminals in jail. Put actual criminals there. Most recently putting a prolific animal abuser behind bars. I'm not saying every user or thread is virtuous. Even if you hate the site, you gotta admit, some people deserve to have their actions exposed. Keffels' campaign eventually took her to Chris Chan, who she brought on for an interview right after Chris got out of jail for allegedly having relations with their mom. Hilariously, she had to keep up the lie that Kiwi Farms was still down, a lie she maintained for years. At this point, I need to pose the question, what goddamn moral high ground does Keffels have over Kiwi Farms? It isn't doxing. She paid money to dox her critics, as well as innocent members of their family. It can't be cyberstalking. She got ousted from her own community for trying to gather dirt on who she called a prototypical lol cow. It can't be some belief of criminality. The whole point of getting Cloudflare to drop Kiwi Farms is making them susceptible to illegal DDoS attacks. And when the site was hosted in Ukraine, she posted the address to the servers publicly, and then accused them of supporting Russia in some weird hopes that I would imagine would be retribution. Her entire MO is exploiting other people for her own benefit. every time she claims people are criticizing her because she's trans. She undermines the actual hate directed towards trans people on the basis of their identity. And what about her cynical use of other people's death, from James Somerton to the victims of Kiwi Farms to bringing up Tony in the inner feud with Ethan Klein?
She starts this motherfucker with "in memory of Tony Winchester, who was the RS
Why?
Glory and Gold."
Why bring him up? What the hell?
He, first of all, I'm speechless with that one.
Yeah.
How many deaths do we have to watch or weaponize until we all get together and can agree invoking someone's name in this way is just really fucking disgusting? And finally, to top it all off, there is no transparency surrounding the GoFundMe. She seems to keep inventing new details about her swatting, and many of the criticisms thrown in her face over the years are rooted in reality. If there's anything to learn about all of this, is that Clara Sorrenti has no morals. She will completely disregard the truth for her own gain and profit. There is no scenario where you can take her at her word, because she is shameless in her attempts at manipulation. If you are someone who felt sincerely invested in Kiwi Farms being taken down, then she has failed you. The site is stronger than ever, and they've raised over $150,000 for their own litigation fund. They've already seen results in getting a company to retract their libelous claims. Dropping Kiwi Farms proved to be a terrible business decision for Cloudflare, who stated it caused a loss of potential customers and significant adverse feedback. And now everyone knows exactly what she was trying to hide after all this time. Now, this final section of the video I have to preface with some caveats. When I first announced I was going to be working on this video publicly, several former friends and editors reached out to offer their perspective. They expressed feelings disillusioned by her behavior and provided what appears to be pretty damning screenshots, one that I started this video off in the beginning, as you can imagine, regarding what Clara did with her money. The reason why I waited to introduce this is at the very end is because I want to show that you can make a strong case with what is already publicly available. I have also been very honest about the extent of my knowledge regarding this evidence. Like, I have to be very honest here. Keffels has faked DMs in the past, even doing so on stream before posting them as if they're real. Keffels and her camp have demonstrated being actual disinformation agents, and having to vet screenshots are actually a serious concern. This is why I say I never believe an actual message until I open up the server myself, hit refresh, and see it with my own fucking eyes. I don't just believe any screenshot thrown at me. With all that being said, this is what I was shown. The first is from a screenshot from a private group chat dated November 30th, 2022. Feels really bad watching the GoFundMe deplete. The rest will cover a year's rent and my psych fees if I talk to a psychologist once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me by reminding me that it was an emergency fund. I kept trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out buying new streaming gear and clothes. If legitimate, this is an admission that the GoFundMe had greatly depleted after just 2 months. It also calls into question if she actually did buy new clothes and equipment for her friends. That isn't even remotely covered by any of her stated goals. Claire seems to understand this, going on to state, if anyone ever finds out about how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. And these messages were deleted, 7 minutes later? If you recall, in September of 2022, Clara mentioned hiring both a private investigator and a cybersecurity firm. This conversation, dated November 12, 2023, appears to shed further insight as to why. The source first sent a tweet from YouTuber Bad Empanada, who had criticized Keffels in the past. Clara responded by sharing his full name, date of birth, and home address. When asked how she obtained this information, Clara gloated she was insane before revealing the name of another YouTuber named Second Thought. Does Kiwi Farms have this info? No, I did it myself. I never published this info. It's just like a game for me. Clara continued, I'll have more soon. I paid for another information request from an Argentinian PI firm. Honestly, my dream is to retire from streaming and be a PI. Dox people professionally. The lady who wants to drop Kiwi Farms, ladies and gentlemen, used the money raised under false pretenses to indulge in her fantasy of being a professional doxer. Allegedly. Given the nature of these screenshots, we have to be very careful about their legitimacy. However, I did end up reaching out to both of the YouTubers targeted to verify if the information was legitimate. And unfortunately, I did not get a single response back, as sad as it sounds. I think at the end of all this, the real harm that Keffels has done is not necessarily just to herself, but for the people that she quote-unquote wants to advocate for. Look, throughout covering this video, I've learned that the trans people that I've talked to just want to exist. And in most cases, they're just average people, and their identities are just their identities. That's it. They actually have lives outside of what their, again, trans identity usually is. And a lot of those people I talked to have all disliked Keffels. And they've all disliked him because, you know, as far as I can really tell you, this person's like the Jesse Jackson of trans people, okay? They will use this as a shield. They will constantly try to be an activist. And I feel that Keffels' behavior has made her the perfect controlled opposition for making trans people just look terribly bad. So the end of all this, ladies and gentlemen, Keffels is in fact a liar. They are evil, they are malicious, and they're a great harm to not just themselves, but the community they quote-unquote claim to represent. That said, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Tetris. We all know it, and we all love it. Few games have had the lasting legacy of Tetris. There have been versions released on nearly every console and smartphone ever made, and to this day, these new versions remain popular among fans and casual gamers alike. But perhaps the most well-known
Jo, meine Freunde, was geht? Herzlich willkommen hier zurück zu Cake TV Uncut. Wir reagieren heute nochmal fix solange wie ich halt Zeit habe, auf einen Podcast von Lester-Schwestern. Die haben nämlich anscheinend die Frage gestellt, was wäre, wenn Anise Duck männlich gewesen wäre? Und das ist eine sehr, sehr wichtige Frage, die in dieser ganzen Auseinandersetzung und bei den ganzen psychischen Schäden, die anderen Leute von Annie mitgenommen haben, auch einfach viel zu wenig Beachtung geschenkt bekommt. Ich finde die Frage sehr, sehr wichtig. Ne? Was wäre, wenn sie ja keine Frau wäre? Dann wäre es auf einmal auch nicht mehr so schlimm, was sie gemacht hat. Und deswegen gucken wir da rein. Lasst einen Kommentar gegen die Bots da. Und
was halt auch komplett nicht okay ist. Ne? Also
wir haben jetzt hier mittendrin angefangen. Mir wurde gesagt, bei Minute 33:10 stellen die Frage. Wir gehen jetzt
offensichtlich eine Menge Scheiße gebaut. Und das ist nicht okay, aber das rechtfertigt auch nicht, dass man jemanden irgendwie dann solche Drohungen reinhaut. Und ich muss auch ehrlich sagen, ich finde es okay, dass sie Konsequenzen hat, dass sozusagen die Abonnenten verliert, weil das ist ja die Entscheidung von jedem Einzelnen, zu sagen, möchte ich diese Person weiter gucken, möchte ich sie unterstützen. Und natürlich gibt es Leute, die sagen, hey, ich kann diese Person nicht mehr gucken, weil das, was sie gemacht hat, ist für mich nicht akzeptabel. Aber dann irgendwie so krass zelebrieren, wie sie ihre Lebensgrundlage verliert, finde ich dann auch wieder schon ein bisschen zu viel. Ne? Also es ist so eine, ich finde, das ist so eine schwierige Balance zwischen, es ist wichtig, dass das in der Öffentlichkeit, es ist wichtig, dass sie kritisiert wird, es ist wichtig, dass sie irgendwie zur Rechenschaft gezogen wird. Und gleichzeitig gibt es aber auch irgendwo eine Grenze, wo wir auch nicht vergessen dürfen, dass es trotzdem selber ein Mensch ist und es jetzt auch nicht okay ist, nur weil sie selber mutmaßlich eine Täterin ist, die andere irgendwie missbraucht, sie jetzt irgendwie zu missbrauchen und fertig zu machen. Ne? Also das ist auch nicht okay. Und
da muss man natürlich sagen, Rob Bubble hat natürlich schon öfter Leute wie mich fertig gemacht. Das ist natürlich was anderes. Da kann man das natürlich zelebrieren mit dummen Aussagen. Ich glaube, Monte auch, oder? Ich glaube, irgendwas haben die mal über den Shoyoka-Beef irgendwie geredet, ne? Ja, aber per se kann ich das auf jeden Fall komplett nachvollziehen. Also ich würde das auf jeden Fall ähnlich sehen, ne? Also natürlich Kritik und so weiter ist absolut in Ordnung. Sollte man sich jetzt darüber freuen, dass sie so down geht? Boah, ich sehe das so zwiegespalten, weil auf der einen Seite, also ich gönne per se keinem Menschen irgendwas Schlechtes, also ne, Annie soll auch weiter die Möglichkeit haben, natürlich Influencerin zu sein. Auf der anderen Seite muss man sagen, sie hat halt ihre ganze Reichweite dann unter Lügen aufgebaut, weil die sich öffentlich ja komplett anders gegeben hat, als sie eigentlich gewesen ist. Und da kann ich halt schon verstehen, wenn die Leute halt dann sagen, ey, ich will das halt nicht mehr unterstützen, ne? Weil das alles, was sie halt, was sie sich aufgebaut hat, hat sie halt nicht ehrlich gemacht. Ich würde auch sagen, sie kann natürlich weiter Videos machen und so. Ich finde es krass, wie viele De-Abos sie gemacht hat, auch in der Zeit. Ne, ich glaube, allein auf Instagram irgendwie 60 oder 70.000. Ne, aber klar, man sollte das jetzt nicht zelebrieren oder so. Ne. Ich sag mal, ich sehe das ähnlich wie Moki gesagt hat. Also klar, ich berichte natürlich auch darüber, weil ich auch dadurch meine Klicks ziehe. Ich bin Meinungsblogger, ist klar. So, was ja irgendwie aber der Auslöser sein sollte, dass diese Videos erstellt werden, wäre ja, dass sie sich Hilfe sucht, dass sie einsieht, okay, ich habe hier so viele Menschen kaputt gemacht mit meinem Verhalten, was ich vielleicht selber auch gar nicht wahrnehme, dass ich mir Hilfe suche, daran arbeite, dass das halt in Zukunft nicht mehr passiert. So, ne, so wenn die jetzt den Fehler macht und wenn die im Statement gesagt hätte, ey, stimmt, ich habe hier meine Probleme, das war alles kacke, ich suche mir Hilfe, wäre das deutlich besser angekommen, weil man dann auch diese Besserung sehen würde. Aber ich glaube auch gerade dieses Statement, wo sie nichts einsieht, wo sie sagt, hey, das war alles überhaupt nicht so gemeint, sorgt natürlich dafür, dass die Leute dann noch wütender bei dem Thema werden.
Das ist, also was du gesagt hast, voll wichtig mit den Konsequenzen, weil ich glaube, viele Menschen, wenn man sowas sagt wie Konsequenzen für XY, immer, also dass das ganz klar, Konsequenzen bedeutet nicht Morddrohungen. Konsequenzen bedeutet nicht, dass jemand irgendwie aufs Übelste beleidigt werden soll. Konsequenzen bedeutet, dass das Verhalten Konsequenzen haben muss. Dass Menschen, die sich daneben verhalten, Konsequenzen erleiden sollen in Form von, ich gebe dieser Person keine Bühne mehr, keine Stimme mehr. Ja. Sie kriegt mein View nicht mehr, mein Like nicht mehr. So mehr ist es am Ende nicht. Das bedeutet, jemand muss für beschissenes Verhalten Konsequenzen tragen und das ist gut und wichtig. Und ich habe oft das Gefühl, dass gerade in solchen Debatten dann auch gerne damit abgelenkt wird, dass dann sehr schnell die TäterInnenseite genommen wird und dann so von wegen, ja und jetzt hier Suizid und Drohung und ich verstehe, dass man da immer eine Grenze wahren muss und vielleicht ist es auch wichtig, dann nochmal explizit zu sagen, Leute, damit ist nicht gemeint Morddrohung, das geht nie und das sollte jetzt nicht umschlagen, deswegen es muss ein Mittelweg gefunden werden, aber deswegen irgendwie die ganze Geschichte zu relativieren, indem man, so, es ist jetzt hier nicht passiert, aber es ist an anderer Stelle ja schon häufiger passiert. Ich wollte es einfach nur nochmal sagen, weil ich das sehr wichtig finde.
Ja, ich bin mal gespannt, wie es weitergeht.
Ne?
Also, weil das, was
dazu kann man auf jeden Fall sagen, da stehe ich absolut hinter Aljoscha. Ne? Ich mag ihn übrigens nicht, aber Ich stehe da auf jeden Fall auch hinter ihm. So egal, was da irgendeine Person macht, so Beleidigung, Morddrohung und so weiter, sollte man natürlich nicht machen. Ja, es halt, also, was heißt unnötig, das zu erwähnen? Also ich finde, man kann das halt nicht oft genug erwähnen, weil es halt trotzdem noch passiert. Es gibt trotzdem Leute, die das immer noch in Ordnung finden und klar, es ist immer, also es wird immer passieren. So, es wird immer Leute geben im Internet, die anonym sind, die Leute beleidigen, die Morddrohungen schicken oder sonst irgendwas. Ich finde es aber gerade deswegen auch wichtig, dass man halt das des Öfteren mal anspricht, wenn denn sowas auch passiert, dass man sich dagegen positioniert, weil es kann immer sein, dass du vereinzelt Leute damit auch erreichst, die vielleicht ihr Fehlverhalten einsehen oder die sowas dann erst gar nicht machen. Ja, deswegen finde ich das halt schon wichtig, das auf jeden Fall dann nochmal zu erwähnen. Ich habe es in meinen Videos auch schon öfter erwähnt, dass sowas nicht klar geht. Ne? Jan, danke schön.
Im Raum steht es ja offensichtlich. Reeft hat noch Beweise. Moki redet sogar von Anwälten und Opfern und Beweisen und so.
Echt krass.
Und mal gucken, ob da von deren Seite noch was kommt. Ich würde sagen, Annis Statement ist nach hinten losgegangen. Also ich glaube, das hat ihr eher geschadet, als dass es ihr hilft. Mal gucken, ob da von ihrer Seite noch was kommt. Es gab jetzt schon Tweets von irgendwie Samsung und Sony, weil mit Samsung hat sie irgendwie, glaube ich, eine Kooperation. Bei Sony ist sie gerade im Garfield-Film, hat sie eine Voice-Over-Stimme-Rolle, dass
so
die meinten so, oh, wir beobachten diese Anschrift.
Jetzt muss man sich mal überlegen, Alter. Jetzt, wo das mit den Katzen rauskommt, genau dann hat sie einfach eine Stimme, wo sie eine Katze spricht,
Mal gucken, ob wir dagegen vorgehen. Also businesstechnisch sollte das wahrscheinlich auch Konsequenzen jetzt haben.
Was ich aber ganz kurz nochmal in den Raum werfen möchte, was ich jetzt eine total spannende Frage finde, was wäre, wenn Anni männlich wäre?
Oh nein. Dann hätte die wahrscheinlich mit ihrem Content wahrscheinlich gar nicht so viele Leute erstmal erreicht.
Ja, also ich finde das super schwierig.
Digga, Junge, allein diese Frage. Ich wusste, dass die Frage kommt, deswegen gucken wir das. Aber so, weißt du redest gerade so über Morddrohungen und so weiter und jetzt plötzlich, was wäre, wenn Annie the Duck ein Fisch wäre?
Das so hypothetisch durchzuspielen, aber ich weiß komplett, was du meinst. Weil
ich will damit quasi nur anregen, dass wir das im Hinterkopf behalten, dass wir so Situationen ja durchaus vielleicht abgewandelt schon hatten und dass da Männer tendenziell sehr doll in Schutz genommen werden. Und hier, wie du schon meintest, gar nicht.
Was ich so spannend finde, ist also ich finde es ja gut. Ne? Ich finde es gut, dass die Leute den Opfern glauben und sozusagen die Beweislast ist ja offensichtlich da und sie hat ja viele Sachen auch zugegeben in ihrem Statement. Sie hat nur gesagt, der Kontext fehlt oder ich habe es anders gemeint oder ich wurde missverstanden oder ne? Also sozusagen dass das passiert ist, was die Leute sagen.
Ja, also ich finde die Frage ist, also weißt du, das Geile ist auch, das fällt mir generell auf in solchen Podcasts so, warum bringen die dann nicht das Gegenbeispiel? Ja, bei dem und dem Mann ist es nämlich genauso nicht gelaufen. Es ist doch genau das Gleiche. So Miki TV zum Beispiel wurde so krass durch einen Fleischwolf gezogen, also selbst ja heute noch, ne? Jetzt hat ja erst Jakob Rätsel nach 8 Monaten dann auch mal sein Video rausgehauen beispielsweise. Da sind so viele Leute haben sich da drauf gestürzt. Bei Monte, wenn der irgendwie einen Fehltritt gemacht hat, gerade früher, so viele Leute haben Videos darüber gemacht und getwittert und Statements gedroppt und sonst irgendwas. Bei mir war das auch genau das Gleiche. Das hat doch nichts mit dem Geschlecht zu tun. Lustigerweise wird jetzt gesagt, ja, also die Täterin ist eine Frau, was wäre, wenn es ein Mann wäre? Genauso könnte man aber auch sagen, ey, 95% der Opfer sind auch Frauen und man steht da ja dann hinter einer Frau, die auch dann die Opfer gewesen sind. Diese Frage macht aus so vielen Gründen, macht es gar keinen Sinn. Ja, Luke Mockridge beispielsweise wurde komplett zerstört, öffentlich fertig gemacht. Am Ende kam raus, auch der war das einfach gar nicht.
Steht gar nicht zur Debatte in ihrem Statement, ne? Sondern eher nur, wie sie es verstanden haben oder was sie damit gemeint hat und so weiter.
Ja,
das heißt, es ist toll, dass die Leute den Opfern glauben, es ist toll, dass sie Rückhalt bekommen von der gesamten Streamer-Community, die sozusagen alle darauf reacten und sagen, ja, das ist völlig scheiße, ne? Mega. Und ich glaube, das Umgekehrte ist einfach nur so, warum ist es anders gewesen in der Vergangenheit, auch teilweise von denselben Leuten, die jetzt instant auf Annie the Duck aufgesprungen sind und gesagt haben, so, ja, die ist absolut scheiße, mit dem einzigen Kontext, dass Moki quasi einen Stream gemacht hat und ein Statement gepostet hat, wenn ähnliche Dinge in der Vergangenheit vorgefallen sind, wo jemand gesagt hat, dieser Streamer hat mich missbraucht, sexuell missbraucht, und dann plötzlich so, ja, warte. Also, da warten wir jetzt erstmal ab und das ist ja auch gar nicht vor Gericht gewesen, deswegen, es gibt keine Beweise.
Ja, okay, und wo soll das so passiert sein? Also ja, bei solchen erstmal ist jetzt sowas wie haha, hihi und solche Sachen. Ich muss irgendwie leider werbefreundlich sagen, da muss man es leider verniedlichen, auch wenn ihr natürlich wisst, was ich meine, ne? Fair-Gedings und so weiter. Oder Belästigungen, die in so eine Basis geht. Das sind natürlich auch Dinge, die nicht fit gehen und ja, Ne, ja, vielleicht meint ihr auch die Shuyoka-Thematik. Natürlich kommt das immer so ein bisschen auf Glaubwürdigkeit und so weiter an. So unabhängig, welches Geschlecht welche Vorwürfe macht. So, das Ding ist, bei der Moki-Geschichte ging das Ganze, also kamen die ersten Statements ja ziemlich schnell. Also Moki hat das in einem Stream, glaube ich, gesagt und einen Tag später hat Reeved in einem Stream schon noch mehr Sachen gedroppt und beides sind halt schon sehr glaubwürdige Personen und dann kam ja quasi jede Stunde ein neues Statement von 10 verschiedenen Personen gefühlt. Ja, die Danny-Geschichte, also der wurde doch auch komplett Lexi, Dankeschön für den T1-Set. Der wurde doch auch extrem gehatet, oder nicht?
Ne, wo sind die Receipts, ne? Also, das ist mal wieder typisch eine Frau, die einfach nur Aufmerksamkeit haben will und Klicks.
Ja, genau.
Schön
Also,
bei Flesk
es
auch.
ist schon faszinierend, gerade wenn man sich anguckt, welche Leute mit aufgesprungen sind auf den Any the Dark Hate Train instantly und wie die in der Vergangenheit bei anderen Fällen bei Männern reagiert haben, ist schon ein bisschen telling. Also ich weiß genau, was du meinst.
Haben wir sehr lange über Any the Duck gesprochen, ne?
Wir haben sehr lange beendet. Aber es ist einfach das größte Thema des Jahres, weil ich glaube, jemand, der so groß
Ich finde, wie gesagt, was mich halt bei solchen Sachen einfach extrem stört, ist auch, wie allgemein das gehalten wird. Also, wenn die mal einen vernünftigen Podcast machen wollen, ich meine, die haben jetzt hier irgendwas gesagt mit irgendwelchen, also ohne Names zu droppen, ja, wenn das ein Mann wäre oder, das gab es auch mal mit einem Mann, aber da hat keiner was gemacht, ja, aber dann bringt doch mal das Beispiel. Die behaupten jetzt einfach irgendwas, ohne darauf einzugehen und dann zu sagen, ja, weil sie eine Frau ist. Mhm.
dass die Person so instantly fertig gemacht wird und so breit auch fertig gemacht wird und auch es so viele unterschiedliche Anschuldigungen von so großen Influencern auch gibt und Leute wie keine Ahnung, Gnu oder Julian Bam da so in der Peripherie mit drin sind, das gab es meiner Meinung nach eigentlich sogar noch gar nicht. Also, ne, also auch von den Männern, von denen wir jetzt so indirekt gesprochen haben, das sind ja alles auch bei weitem nicht so große Namen gewesen wie Annie the Duck, ne? Also deswegen, naja, eine gute Überleitung. Eine gute Überleitung zum nächsten Thema. Bevor wir jetzt mit dem nächsten Thema weitermachen.
Ach, das war schon. Ja, okay. Aber ich finde es auch geil, wie Aljoscha das so reinbringt, dass so kurz so übermäßig darüber geredet wird, aber dann ist das Thema halt auch sofort wieder vorbei. Ja, weiß ich nicht, was soll ich dazu sagen? Also ich finde, die Frage stellt sich halt nicht, weil auch wenn Männer solche Skandale haben, wurden die schon durch einen Fleischwolf gezogen. Also ich finde es auch ein bisschen respektlos irgendwie so eine Frage zu stellen, weil wir reden da immer noch darüber, dass eine Person Menschen psychisch komplett kaputt gemacht hat, dass die in Therapie sind, dass die Panikattacken haben, dass die chronische Schmerzen bekommen haben. Da kann man sich ja vorstellen, was alles vorgefallen sein muss, bis dein Körper so reagiert. Und Aljoscha hat nichts anderes zu tun, als die Frage zu stellen, ja, aber wenn sie ein Mann gewesen wäre, hätten die dann auch so gehandelt? Weiß nicht, finde ich sehr, sehr weird. Ja gut, jetzt nochmal ein kurzes Video, kann man auch mitnehmen, ne?
Ist KuchenTV eine Pipeline nach rechts? Ich würde sagen nein, aber er reagiert jetzt wohl auf Vorwürfe und ich freue mich darüber, mal reagieren zu können, um das einzuschätzen. Ich bin gespannt, wer ihm das vorwirft. Mal gucken.
Jo, Freunde der rechten Pipelines. Wisst ihr noch, als Proletopia vor 2,5 Jahren in einem Video das hier behauptet hat?
Servus Leute, ihr könnt euch noch ganz bestimmt an die letzten Livestreams erinnern, in denen ich gesagt habe, dass KuchenTV in Wirklichkeit der Anfang einer Pipeline ist, die dich nach rechts zieht.
Das sagt er. Ist er nicht der AfD-Umfeld pusht? Hey. Das ist witzig.
Und Kuchen hat natürlich gesagt, nein, bin ich nicht, was, das gibt's doch gar nicht.
Und wir alle haben gesagt, hä? Was für ein Quatsch. Also, das stimmt auf gar keinen Fall. Und versteht mich nicht falsch, ich bin immer noch nicht der Meinung, dass ich eine Pipeline nach rechts bin, aber in letzter Zeit...
Das ist eine Pipeline zu schlechtem Kleidungsgeschmack hier. Was ist denn das hier wieder? Nur ein teures Hemd? Was ist denn das? Aber er hat einen stabilen, leichten Zoom.
fällt es mir doch des Öfteren auf, dass viele meiner Zuschauer rechts geworden sind. Und selbst das ist mir übrigens im Grunde vollkommen egal. Denkt einfach, was ihr wollt, das juckt mich wirklich überhaupt nicht. Also zumindest solange ihr die Videos ohne Adblocker guckt und ich trotzdem Geld dafür kriege. Aber eine Sache, die mir in letzter Zeit so aufgefallen ist, dass ich sowohl auf...
Genau, ich muss Kuchen mehr kritisieren, weil mein Buch immer noch nicht im Hintergrund steht.
KuchenTV als auch auf KuchenTV Uncut, meinem Reaction-Kanal,
Da schreibt jemand, Polytopia distanziert sich momentan immer mehr von dem AfD-Umfeld. Davon habe ich nichts mitgekriegt. Ich habe erst in den letzten Wochen noch mitgekriegt, wie er AfD-Umfeld massiv pusht. Wenn er nicht weiß, was ich damit meine, kann er sich gerne bei mir melden. Also er soll hier nicht tun, dass er in irgendeiner Weise links ist, denn also rechter kann man die Bubble gar nicht hinbekommen.
Wenn ich mal rechte Punkte kritisiere, sehr viele Dislikes bekomme und auch sehr viele weirde Kommentare. Das Ganze...
Abschauer, Dankeschön. Auf Ex-Muslim.
Kannst du mal auf den Ex-Muslim-Army reagieren, wäre lustig.
Du hast es mit dem Islam-Thema, gell, Abstauber?
Ist auch nicht nur bei mir so. Alicia Joe hat ja vor einiger Zeit das Video über die rechten Influencer hochgeladen. Und auch da hat sie eine...
Na gut, da wird dann runtergevotet von den rechten Influencern. Ich habe ja als einer der ersten habe ich Ketzer der Neuzeit kritisiert. Da haben sich alle noch ins Höschen gemacht, weil er eine starke Reichweite hat.
Menge Dislikes kassiert. Gut, das wird jetzt nicht nur ihre Community sein, aber von Anfang an war die Bewertung da nicht so gut, wie das sonst der Fall ist. Mein Video zu Ein Gollern am Mittwoch hat zum Beispiel deutlich mehr Dislikes als meine anderen Videos. Und wenn ich auf KuchenTV Uncut zum Beispiel einen Weird Flex kritisiere, weil der Feminismus-Themen komplett oberflächlich und falsch bewertet, dann kann ich mir sicher sein, dass es da auch einige Dislikes hagelt.
Aber Kuchen, du musst doch wissen, du bist einer der ganz schlimmen Hetzer. Zumindest, wenn das aus der Ecke Shoyoka gesehen wird oder Müller-Römer. Ich weiß gar nicht mehr, wie er Kuchen genannt hat. Irgendwas mit krank oder sowas. Muss nochmal genau schauen ins Protokoll.
Mit diesem Video hier will ich euch übrigens auch nicht sagen, dass ihr solche Dinge bei mir nicht mehr kritisieren dürft. Aber bei einer Shoyoka...
Besessen wurde auch gesagt, ja.
Machen wir uns durchgehend darüber lustig, dass sie lügt, Sachen verdreht, Dinge komplett falsch darstellt oder Dinge aus dem Zusammenhang reißt. Aber
das hat sie witzig, das hat sie auch bei dem Prozess versucht. Das ist so unverschämt gewesen an der einen Stelle. Es wurde dann behauptet, da hat sich dann auch Dave eingemischt, ich hätte gesagt, sie würde KZs bewerben. Und ich danke, Abstauber. Was ist das hier für Fragen? Würdest du sagen, dass eigentlich ein Spion ist? Oh Gott. Ja, sie hasst einfach die USA wegen ihrem Vater. Da wurde tatsächlich gesagt, ich hätte behauptet, sie würde KZs bewerben. Und ich dachte, ich schaue Nika Sarafi an und denke, hä, was? Wo? Bitte zeig das mir. Und dann kamen die an, ja, hier ist der Clip und sowas. Und weil ich sie kritisiert habe, dass sie auf der TikTok-Bühne stand, einem Staatskonzern, bei deren Einnahmen natürlich auch das Leid der Uiguren gefördert wird es so verdreht. Das, Freunde, das ist Hetze. Unglaublich. Dass man es wagt, vor Gericht so eine Show abzuziehen.
ich merke in den Kommentaren, dass Rechte genau das Gleiche tun, wenn man mal ihre Punkte kritisiert. Als Beispiel mal ein Kommentar, der so dämlich gewesen ist, dass ich den angepinnt habe. Kann es sein, dass du ihr richtig in den Allerwertesten kriegst? Egal wer was gegen sie sagt und egal ob die alle recht haben oder nicht, du bist immer auf ihrer Seite. Hast du so einen Schiss, dass sie eines Tages am Sonntag ein Video gegen dich macht oder willst du sie nur knallen? Ich meine das ganz...
Sexistische Kackscheiße.
Ganz ehrlich, wieso bist du so fanatisch, wenn es um diese eine Frau geht?
Was, Bruder? Was soll ich sagen, Bruder?
Also erstmal war das mein erstes Verteidigungsvideo zu Alicia und selbst da habe ich sie in 1-2 Punkten kritisiert. Übrigens ist auch Sascha diejenige, die immer am Sonntag ein Video hochlädt, aber Frauen sehen sowieso alle gleich aus. Naja, fast. Ich habe mal
Viele wechseln die, ich auch.
nachgeguckt. So ein paar Unterschiede gibt es da ja irgendwie schon.
Oh, ich distanziere mich.
Der Kommentar macht halt inhaltlich überhaupt keinen Sinn. Was er sagt, ist nachweislich falsch. Und der Kommentar ist nicht gekommen, weil er das wirklich so sieht, sondern einfach nur, weil ich nicht auf der Seite von Ein Gollern gestanden habe. Vor allem muss ich dann als Antwort unter dem Kommentar...
Das Video von Ein Gollern war auch schwach.
auch sowas hier lesen. Ich gucke dich seit 2016, aber dieses Video war mega schwach. Das wirkt alles komplett zwanghaft. Bro, hör auf meine Videos zu gucken. Real Talk, bitte deabonnier einfach diesen Kanal. Ihr müsst euch das einfach mal überlegen. Der Typ hat sich die Zeit genommen, mir so einen langen Kommentar zu schreiben, dass mein Video nicht gut gewesen ist, aber nennt in diesem Kommentar nicht einen einzigen Punkt, warum mein Video schlecht gewesen ist. Wahrscheinlich aber auch einfach, weil es keinen bestimmten Punkt gibt, den man kritisieren kann, außer dass ich gegen ein Gollern und damit wahrscheinlich gegen seine Werte geschossen habe. Das Video von ein Gollern war inhaltlich nun mal einfach nicht gut. Warum?
Ja, man muss es nochmal unterstreichen. Das Video von ein Gollern war Müll, war Whataboutism. Es war einfach nur Schmutz. Sie hat sich blamiert bis auf die Knochen.
Können das diese Leute nicht einfach mal akzeptieren? Den Vogel abgeschossen haben dann auch solche Kommentare. Du verteidigst echt die GEZ? Oh Mann, Kuchen, das war leider das letzte Video, was ich mir von dir
Ich kriege ja auch solche Kommentare von Leuten, die noch nicht mal meinen Kanal abonniert haben. Ich folge dir seit 20 Jahren. Das ist ungefähr Lackt, da habe ich noch nicht mal Videos gemacht.
gesehen habe. Und ich war schon echt lange auf deinem Kanal. Schade. Erstmal, was ist das für eine Aussage? Weil jemand, den du anscheinend seit Jahren feierst, in einer Sache nicht die gleiche Meinung hat wie du, deabonnierst du ihn und guckst einfach seine Videos nicht mehr, oder was? Jetzt mal ernsthaft, dachtest du, dass wir für immer in jedem Punkt exakt die gleiche Meinung haben? Noch lustiger wird das Ganze, wenn man bedenkt, dass ich die GEZ ja sogar in dem Video kritisiert habe. Die Öffentlich-Rechtlichen machen da wirklich nur Müll. Auf Klo und gefühlt auch alle anderen, die irgendwas...
Ja, aber es gibt Leute, die... Ja gut, ich fühle da Kuchen komplett.
Diesem Thema machen bei den Öffentlich-Rechtlichen sind tatsächlich der absolute Schrott. Generell fällt mir bei den meisten Kommentaren, die negativ sind, auf, dass nicht irgendwas Inhaltliches kritisiert wird, sondern sehr allgemein gesagt wird, boah, also das Video, das war jetzt überhaupt nicht gut, dass du das gemacht hast. Und höchstwahrscheinlich, weil ich hier einmal die falsche Seite kritisiere. Bei anderen Videos habe ich nämlich sowas gar nicht. Ein Gollern hat übrigens auch eine Instagram-Story dazu hochgeladen und dort hat sie Folgendes geschrieben. KuchenTV, komischerweise wird mein Kommentar nicht angezeigt.
Habe ich gesehen. Da ist eine scheiß URL drinnen. Jeder normale YouTuber blendet Kommentare erst einmal aus, wenn dort eine URL drin ist. Und hier vor 0 Sekunden, ja doch sofort gescreenshot. Ey, das ist... Mann, die hat sich so hops genommen. Die hat sich so hops genommen. Wie kann man sich nur blamieren so?
Bestimmt nur ein Versehen, oder? Und auch das ist mal wieder komplett dummes Framing. Erstmal, wie will sie das nach 0 Sekunden feststellen, ob der Kommentar da ist oder nicht? Aber YouTube schaltet alle Kommentare offline, wo Links drin sind. Das hat nichts mit dir als Person zu tun und schon gar nicht als Frau. Sie hat später... dann auch noch mal unter dem Video kommentiert, dass es ja sicherlich nur ein Versehen gewesen ist, dass ich ihr Video nicht verlinkt habe. Zwinker-Smiley. Wenn man in die Beschreibung geguckt hätte, dann würde man sehen, dass ich auch nicht Alicias Video verlinkt habe. Und wenn man jetzt noch ein bisschen weiter guckt, dann würde man mitbekommen, dass ich nie die Videos verlinke, um die es geht. Und ja, das kann man natürlich kritisieren, gar keine Frage. Ich bin einfach zu faul dafür. Aber sie stellt es in ihren Kommentaren so hin, als wenn ich das jetzt absichtlich nur bei ihr nicht gemacht hätte, damit keiner die Möglichkeit hat, das richtige Video von ihr zu gucken. Wahrscheinlich einfach, um sich als Opfer darzustellen, die hier mal wieder komplett unfair behandelt wird. Von mir aus feiert sie. Es ist mir komplett egal.
Diese Pflanzen hier sind tot. Also Tim, hier sind 2 tote Pflanzen. Stell mein Buch dorthin.
Und ändert auch in meinem Leben nichts. Aber steht doch nicht hinter
Schuppi, danke schön.
Solchen Sachen. Das ist faktisch gesehen billigstes Framing, um sich als Opfer darzustellen. Wenn das von Shoyoka gekommen wäre, dann hättet ihr sie sowas von tot gehatet. Aber bei ihr, wackes Video, kann Kuchen gar nicht verstehen. Ähnliche Kommentare gibt es auch unter meinem T-Tech-Video. Auch da habe ich einige Dislikes bekommen mit solchen Kommentaren hier. Ich sehe kein Problem mit seinen Aussagen. Damit kann man dann auch die ganzen Wettbewerbe abschaffen, nur noch globale Wettbewerbe starten. Macht man das, bedeutet es nichts mehr Deutsch, Iranisch, Türkisch oder sonst wie zu sein.
Wäre doch geil.
Zugegeben, dort waren jetzt auch gar nicht so viele von solchen dämlichen Kommentaren, aber ja, es bedeutet nicht...
Der schreibt dir mit deinem Buch, hat er längst den Kamin angefeuert. Kuchen hat keinen Kamin, ich war bei ihm schon zu Hause. Er hat es einfach in den Müll geworfen.
Zufällig nicht irgendeinem Land anzugehören. Es ist vollkommen egal, ob du Deutscher bist oder Pole, weil du 3 Kilometer hinter dieser random Grenze geboren worden bist. Macht es dich als Mensch besser als jemand anderes, weil der ein paar tausend Kilometer südlich von hier auf die Welt gekommen ist? Bro, es gibt 800 Milliarden Zillion Billionen Planeten in unserem Universum. Und du beschwerst dich, boah Digga, der ist 300 Kilometer von mir entfernt geboren, Alter. Also den sehe ich überhaupt nicht hier als Teil unseres Landes.
Geil.
Auch in den Kommentaren wurde größtenteils nicht meine Meinung an sich kritisiert oder inhaltlich, sondern man merkt, dass da ziemlich viele rechte Leute sind, die sich daran gestört haben, dass...
Es ist das Problem, wenn man eine differenzierte Meinung hat, dann kommen diese hasserfüllten Volltrottel und bezeichnen einen gleich als Vogue. Eine Frage, du bist doch auch Politik interessiert. Warum hast du einen PC und streamst hier, wenn ihr doch alle klimafreundlich seid? Damit ich deine Mutter besser erreichen kann per E-Mail.
Eine iranischstämmige Person Miss Germany geworden ist. Also für den Fall, dass es noch ein Schönheitswettbewerb wäre, ist es ja nicht. Dieses dämliche Schwarz-Weiß-Denken regt mich einfach komplett auf. Ja, ich bin auch gegen diese dummen Vorwürfe, dass alles und jeder rassistisch ist, wie zum Beispiel Wandern.
Auch wenn es so scheint, nicht jeder hat so leicht Zugang zum Outdoor-Sport. Immer wenn ich zum Beispiel wandern gehe, bin ich eigentlich die einzige schwarze Person auf dem Weg. Der Outdoor-Sport ist dominiert von weißen Menschen und nicht jeder fühlt sich dort wohl. Dieses Phänomen nennt man übrigens...
Oh Gott, was ist das hier? Gregors Politik will sich gerne austauschen. Ja, gerne. Ja. Einfach per Insta anschreiben, dann schnacken wir. Greenforce-Partner, was ist denn Greenforce-Partner? Keine Ahnung, was das ist.
Das heißt aber nicht, dass ich bei allem, was irgendwas mit...
Ich weiß natürlich, dass jetzt der Mutterspruch wird bestimmt rausgekattet. Nein, ich will Sie nur aufklären, dass Ihr Sohn um die Uhrzeit noch wach ist. Wir haben immerhin 22 Uhr. Um die Uhrzeit müsst ihr schon längst im Bett sein. Ach Gott.
Ausländischen Personen zu tun hat, dann irgendwie direkt negativ denke. Jeder Mensch ist genau gleich viel wert, egal wo...
Er schreibt Brillenschlange. Quod erat Demonstrant. Brille. Habe ich auch lange nicht mehr gehört. Brillenschlange. Habe ich das in der Grundschule gehört. Sind Ferien? Ja, stimmt. Wir haben ja morgen Christi Himmelfahrt. Vatertag. Er darf länger wach bleiben.
Er zufällig geboren wurde. Hört auf, vollkommen egal auf welcher Seite ihr seid. Wie gesagt, mir ist es egal, wie ihr euch einordnet. Es juckt mich überhaupt nicht. Aber seid doch trotzdem so aufgeschlossen, auch wenn mal eure
Du hast eine richtige Reichenlache. Ich bin bei der FDP.
Seite kritisiert wird, dass man einsehen kann, dass auch diese Fehler machen. Man kann auch mal Standpunkte der eigenen Seite kritisieren, wenn sie logisch gesehen einfach falsch sind. Das ist eine Sache, die ich ja bei den Linken schon seit Jahren in meinen Videos kritisiere, weil die mich auch immer so dämlich fronten und da feiert das jeder. Aber ihr seid kein Stück besser, also diejenigen, die das machen. Genauso wie wenn ich auf einen Weird Flex kritisiere und der Care-Arbeit einfach nicht versteht. Der hat nämlich in einem Video mal Folgendes gesagt.
Also mein Mann macht immer von ganz alleine die Wäsche. Mein Mann putzt, ohne dass ich ihn darum bitten muss, das Bad. Mein Mann kümmert sich um unsere Kinder und kocht.
Wow, wir haben so tolle Männer, so dankbar.
Hä? Können wir bitte aufhören, das Mindeste, was ein Mann machen sollte, auf ein Podest zu stellen?
Ich weiß nicht, wieso man das jetzt so negativ darstellt, wenn beispielsweise der Mann für dich kocht. Natürlich kann man doch auch für diese Dinge dankbar sein, genauso wie der Mann dankbar dafür sein kann, wenn die Frau für ihn kocht.
Ich habe dann darauf reagiert. Und Mrs. Cringe geht es nicht darum zu sagen, wenn Männer irgendwas machen, dann dürfen wir ab jetzt auf gar keinen Fall mehr dankbar sein. Frauen machen deutlich mehr unbezahlte Arbeit, beispielsweise im Haushalt, als Männer. Hier ist zum Beispiel eine Statistik, wo man sehen kann, dass der Unterschied
Gender Care Gap, was ist das denn?
bei 44% liegt. Hier ist auch nochmal die Aufschlüsselung, wer wie viel Zeit in was genau investiert.
Oh, das ist interessant. So, wo ist die Gartenarbeit? Männer mehr. Einkaufen. Ehrenamt. Fast gleich.
existiert. Und wenn Männer da mal irgendeine Kleinigkeit übernehmen, obwohl sie ja im Durchschnitt sowieso schon viel weniger machen, dann heißt es oftmals, oh mein Gott, mein Mann ist der Beste. Er hat heute tatsächlich einmal die Wäsche rausgeholt. Das hat er sonst nie gemacht. Dafür sollte man nicht gelobt werden. Das sollte das Mindeste sein, dass man sich...
Nö, ich würde sehr gerne gelobt werden, wenn ich meine Wäsche raushole, aber hier ist niemand, der mich
auch in den Haushalt mit einbringt. Dann muss ich aber trotzdem solche Kommentare hier lesen. Männer arbeiten öfter Vollzeit und in körperlich anstrengenden Berufen. Hinzu kommt, dass die handwerklichen Arbeiten sowie die schweren Gartenarbeiten ebenfalls meist an den Männern kleben bleiben. Frauen kommen ja voll gut weg. Also erstmal bringt er Gartenarbeit als Beispiel, obwohl nicht mal 10% der Deutschen überhaupt einen Garten haben. Was ist das?
Wie? Ich verstehe auch nicht, warum Leute in öffentliche Schwimmbäder gehen. Warum gehen sie nicht einfach zu Hause in ihren Pool?
Was für eine Aussage! Dazu kann man sehen in der Statistik, die auch in der Reaction zu sehen ist, dass Gartenarbeit sowie handwerkliche Tätigkeiten da sogar schon mit reingerechnet sind. Und ja, da machen Männer halt mal ein bisschen mehr. Aufs Ganze gerechnet ist es trotzdem weniger als das, was die Frauen machen. Vor allem stelle ich mir auch die Frage, wie viele handwerkliche Tätigkeiten gibt's denn so? Als ob jede Woche irgendwas repariert oder aufgebaut werden muss. Also, wenn du so viel Geld hast, dass du dir jede Woche neue Möbel kaufst, dann kannst du dir auch jemanden holen, der das aufbaut. Oder
Ja, also ich habe eine ganz miese Taktik. Ich bestelle Möbel und die stehen dann unausgepackt ein halbes Jahr, mal ein ganzes Jahr herum, bis Udo Bönstrup mich mal wieder besucht und ich in einem Nebensatz fallen lasse, dass ich es immer noch nicht geschafft habe aufzubauen und ich kriege das gar nicht hin. Und dann baut es Udo auf.
generell den Haushalt schmeißt. Und selbst wenn man die bezahlte und nicht bezahlte Arbeit von beiden Geschlechtern zusammenrechnet, dann arbeitet die Frau in der Woche 1,5 Stunden mehr. Das klingt jetzt vielleicht erstmal nicht so viel, sind aber aufs Jahr hochgerechnet trotzdem 72 Stunden. Ist schon eine Menge, oder nicht? Vor allem hat der Kommentarschreiber ja auch das daraus resultierende Problem einfach auch gar nicht verstanden. Ja, Frauen arbeiten öfter in Teilzeit und übernehmen dafür zum Beispiel mehr die Kinder oder den Haushalt. Aber welche Probleme kann es da geben? Naja, genau 2 Stück. Erstmal ist die Frau dadurch extrem abhängig von dem Mann. Das bedeutet, dass sie in den meisten Fällen irgendwann keine Möglichkeit hat, die Ehe oder die Beziehung zu beenden, ohne finanziell komplett ruiniert zu sein. Denn ein Teilzeitjob reicht meistens nicht, um sich selber zu ernähren oder dann noch zusätzlich die Kinder. Dazu zahlt man bei einem Teilzeitjob natürlich deutlich weniger in die Rentenkasse ein. Frauen sind deutlich häufiger von Altersarmut betroffen.
Du machst da echt die Mitleidmasche drüber. Ja, natürlich. Ich kann das nicht aufbauen. Da steht sonst noch länger hier rum.
Als Männer, und das ist ein Grund davon. Dazu ist es heutzutage so, dass oftmals auch beide Partner arbeiten, weil vielleicht auch oftmals das Geld nicht reicht. Und auch hier machen Frauen mehr im Haushalt, als es die Männer tun. Der Kommentar ist halt wirklich grenzdebil dumm. Faktisch gesehen kannst du alles widerlegen, was er geschrieben hat. Und ich habe auch nichts anderes in meiner Reaction gesagt. Aber trotzdem hat das Video dann einige Dislikes, weil Leute einfach nicht wahrhaben wollen, dass auch irgendwelche sehr feministischen Leute mal einen Punkt haben und es immer noch Dinge in unserer Gesellschaft gibt, die man mal bearbeiten könnte. Ich bin auch gegen den extremen Feminismus, aber deswegen kann man auch mal anerkennen, wenn es statistisch bewiesen ist, dass es da vielleicht ein Problemchen geben könnte. Auch andere Punkte habe ich kritisiert, wie zum Beispiel das...
Aber Fakten, diese ganzen rechten Spinnerten, die wollen keine Fakten.
Hier.
Er kümmert sich um unsere gemeinsamen Kinder. Oh, Husband Material. Nein, die Latte für Männer ist hier unten. Können wir die bitte anlegen? Dankeschön.
Ja, die Latte der Männer ist mit Sicherheit hier unten. Er muss ja nur 10.000 im Monat verdienen, über 1,90 groß sein und einen durchtrainierten Körper haben.
Ich scheitere am durchtrainierten Körper. Nein, Quatsch.
Das
Ich bin
stimmt
1,91.
einfach nicht. Ja, es gibt einige TikToks von irgendwelchen Frauen, die genau das fordern. Ist komplett dumm. Aber zählen die jetzt für jede Frau oder was? Lauf doch einfach mal draußen rum. Sind die einzigen Leute mit einer Freundin irgendwelche reichen 1,90 Leute, die komplett muskulös sind? Digga, jeder Volldepp, der aussieht wie Feiergoden, hat heutzutage eine Freundin. Ja.
Oha, dieser Front gegen Feiergoden, der Arme.
Natürlich haben es Männer im Online-Dating, gerade wenn diese Sachen nicht zu treffen sind, oftmals schwerer. Und auch allgemein, wenn du keine 10 von 10 bist. Gar keine Frage. Aber beim normalen Kennenlernen in einer Bar oder sonst irgendwas ist das nicht so wichtig, wie es...
Das ist so. Also ich zum Beispiel, ich bin ja eine 10 von 10, aber ich mag dieses Online-Dating nicht. Dafür bin ich viel zu schüchtern. Gar nicht von sich eingenommen.
dargestellt wird. Auch das kann man belegen. Geht einfach mal raus. Mit diesen Sachen habe ich einfach recht. Das ist jetzt auch kein so, boah, Digga, wie abgehoben der ist. Der denkt, der weiß doch alles, oder? Aber diese Sachen sind Fakten. Das lässt sich alles belegen. Und trotzdem gibt es dann Leute, die das disliken oder solche dummen Kommentare schreiben. Nicht, weil ich falsch liege, sondern weil sie es nicht übers Herz bekommen, dem Feminismus auch nur einen einzigen Punkt zu geben. Na, was kann ich also abschließend dazu sagen? Wie gesagt, mich juckt eure politische Einstellung wirklich überhaupt nicht. Ich mache hier einfach meinen Unterhaltungscontent, sage meine Meinung und was ihr privat für Meinungen habt, ist mir wirklich komplett egal. Ich persönlich würde mir aber einfach gerne wünschen, dass auch, wenn ich mal vielleicht in eure Richtung schieße, egal ob links oder rechts, dass man aufgeschlossen ist, nicht direkt loshatet, sondern sich mal überlegt, okay...
Aber das ist halt YouTube und das ist halt auch eine... Ach, das ist... die beiden Extremer sind halt leider so.
Kann er da vielleicht trotzdem einfach einen Punkt haben? Auch wenn man andere YouTuber feiert, heißt es nicht, dass die komplett fehlerfrei sind oder nicht eventuell tatsächlich so Dinge wie Framing begehen oder andere Dinge, die so ein bisschen manipulativ sind. Kommt doch einfach damit klar. Vor allem, wenn es auch nachweislich so ist, also davon mal ganz abgesehen. Und auch wenn ihr gegen diesen extremen Feminismus seid und es euch nervt, dass man überall dumme TikToks und so weiter sieht, da bin ich ja ganz bei euch, kann man trotzdem in jedem einzelnen Punkt gucken und man kann auch mal sagen, ja, okay, in dem Punkt habt ihr nun mal einfach recht. Das tut wirklich niemandem weh. Und selbst wenn ihr aus Zwang dagegen sein wollt, dann ist es ja in Ordnung. Aber dann schreibt doch wenigstens sachliche Kommentare, wo man sich vorher vielleicht wenigstens ein bisschen informiert hat. Dann schreibt doch einfach, ey, das, was du bei 4 Minuten 30 gesagt hast, sehe ich anders, denn meine Meinung ist so und so. Aber das passiert kaum bei solchen...
Ja, weil die Leute nur die ersten 2 Minuten oder die Überschrift lesen und dann kommentieren.
Themen. Es ist meistens einfach ein Gehate, einfach weil man genau diesen Punkt kritisiert hat. Ja, genau das, was ich in meinen Kuchen-Talks so oft bei anderen Gruppen kritisiere, macht diese Gruppe halt selber, wenn ich mal Videos über die mache. Das ist eine ganz schöne Doppelmoral, oder? Wie gesagt, ist das auch kein großer Teil meiner Community, also selbst diese Videos sind trotzdem immer noch gut bewertet, aber das ist so eine Sache, die mir in letzter Zeit aufgefallen ist. Was sagt ihr dazu? Schreibt es in die Kommentare. Bis dann.
Ja, da hat er halt vollkommen recht. Das Video ist mal ein bisschen bunt gemischt, aber ja, es ist halt so. Ich sehe es jetzt auch gerade. Ich habe ja auch eine Reaction hochgeladen zu Tesla Hahn. Das wird direkt runtergevotet. Die Leute sind am Durchdrehen. Ja, das ist Satire. Nein, das ist keine Satire. Das ist Faschismus und Rassismus. Das hat mit Satire halt null zu tun. Daumen hoch für Kuchen. Was ist eure Meinung? Wenn euch irgendwas an irgendeiner Stelle in dem Video nicht passt, dann bitte mit Zeitstempel dazu schreiben. Ich ignoriere es eh.
Did you see the ludicrous drink prices at EDC 2024? They're selling cheap alcohol for literal thousands, and even regular water is $90. I saw someone made a post on Twitter about the EDC drink prices, but I didn't really look at it. Let me see. This is pathetic. EDC Las Vegas. Oh man, you know what else is pathetic? Since everything is harvesting my data at every given moment, now Google has optimized my ads, so now it's nothing but magic cards everywhere. Charles, we know you like magic, dangling the carrot. Oh, fuck. It's in me now. Oh god. It's putting the drugs right in front of me. It's taunting. This is pathetic. EDC Las Vegas. Drink prices skyrocket to the thousands. A 6-pack of water would have set you back $90. Is that right? The Electric Daisy Carnival, aka EDC, the Coachella of EDM, has come under fire after bottle service menu from their marquee Skydeck bar was posted to Instagram. Prices shown go as high as $94,000 for 12 liters of champagne, and even a mere 6-pack of water would have set you back $90. The cheapest alcohol on offer was a 6-pack of Heineken or Bud Light for $140. Holy shit. You gotta be the biggest fucking loser to actually pay those prices. Oh, that's shameful. Oh, that's so embarrassing if anyone pays for that. It doesn't matter how rich you are, you're a fucking clown if you pay for that. Yeah, you'd have to be a turbo schmuck. Let me see, hold on, let me see the picture that leaked, because I don't think it's this one, right? Someone said Deserto has it. Alright, what do we got? For vodka, a Kettle One, 950 bucks. Grey Goose, 975 bucks. And then a Belvedere Magnum, 1,700 bucks. Oh my god. Jack Daniels, 875. Brother, you better give me like half the factory for that price. Are you kidding me? A White Claws, 150 clams. And here's your waters. So a 6-pack of Smart Water, 90. They're offering Prime there, which is also 90. Ghost Energy, which I'm guessing is a sponsor, 90. And yeah, here's the big ticket item. The Notorious EDC. 1 Methalusa 6 liter of Dom Perignon Brut. And 1 Methylson 6 liter of Don Perignon Rosé. If you buy this, you just get sent straight to hell. The Lord forsakes you. That's so cringe. You fucked those names right up. I've never seen these words. I don't know what a Methuselah is. That sounds like a commander in Magic the Gathering. I don't know. I don't know this shit. I feel like I've heard Don Perignon in like a movie before. But I don't know any of these, man. Is EDC... Okay, how about this? Has anyone here been to EDC? Has it always been like this, or is this brand new? Have the prices always been this ridiculous? This is just for the VIP club. Well, yeah, but the VIP club's always existed, right? This is for a Sky Bar or something? Yeah, Sky Deck Bar. Which I don't think they've just erected there just for EDC. Like, I'm sure that's been there for a while. Let me see. And I'm wondering if the prices have always been like this. Sky Deck Bar was opened in 2021. Oh, well, the 3-day ticket to EDC is $379. I actually thought the tickets to EDC would be significantly more expensive. It's 100% just because they can. Well, yeah, I'm sure they'll get some customers. I mean, you only need a couple whales, right, to make this profitable. So I'm sure it's not going to be a failure for them or anything, but it's still embarrassing. Also, is this like normal for them? Let's see. Where's their menu? Live webcam. Well, this is what Sky Deck Bar looks like right now, I guess. Cool. I'm guessing that the prices aren't normally like thousands of dollars for a single shot of whiskey or whatever, because I bet watching this live cam, you would probably see people throw themselves over the edge. So I'm assuming they're just jacking it up for EDC. There's a receipt online of someone spending over 200k at EDC 2022. They get laughed at relentlessly because they deserve to get bullied for that. In EDC... Yeah, wow, wait, this is normal. These goobers actually do just pay this. A supposed receipt from the VIP bar at EDC Las Vegas shows an astronomical $323,000 tab. Wow. Here's the grand finale. I am speechless. Wow. What a fucking loser. Oh, what? Hey, look, wait, this guy actually bought the... Wait, it looks like their prices are cheaper this year. This guy bought a $100,000 Ace of Spades Brute and a $90 Ace Rosé. The highest they offer this year is $94,000, and then the second highest is $54K. They're actually being far more financially conscious. They're basically giving those away now. It was a lot worse in 2022. I guess here, I'll give everyone a little pro tip here. I would say, if any of you live in Las Vegas, over the next, like, week and some change, do everything possible to work at Sky Deck Bar for EDC. Because the gratuity on this is, like, absurd. A $46,000 tip, and all you had to do is bring, like, 2 shots of whiskey and then a little bit of champagne. Anything you can, get that job. I'm betting they don't get that gratuity. Yeah, I'm sure they take a percentage of tips as well. They seem like the kind of place that would. What is the this is such a fucking sham. Their admin fee of 9%, $20,848. What is the admin fee? What in the fuck could you possibly be scalping for that? That's a $9 service charge. We had to open the bottle. Man, this place... Oh my god, this place makes a killing off these idiots. Holy shit. Yeah, wait, no, the water was cheaper back then. 75 bucks, now it's 90. Damn you, Biden! You're ruining our EDC prices! This guy spent 167 grand. Made it clear that it wasn't theirs. Oh, yeah, no, I don't think the actual Twitter account is this. Like, I don't think this guy is this check. I'm sure he just saw this and posted it. I'm just talking about the actual guy, whoever did this. And this. 70,000 in tips is crazy. Hey, that's what I'm saying. If any of you live in Vegas right now, try your absolute best over the next week or two to get a job at Sky Deck Bar. Whatever it takes. By any means necessary. These tips are ballistic. Apparently, if you buy a drink at Marquee Sky Deck, they would also give you a golf cart ride to your table. Oh, so that must be like the admin fee. Oh, wow. Okay, now it makes so much sense. That's so cool. So this is different from normal Sky Deck, right? This is a totally separate one, I'm pretty sure. This is Marquee Sky Deck. Let's go this way. Whoa! Wow, this actually looks straight out of John Wick. Cool look. Oh, whoops. Whoa. Getting dizzy. Cool looking dance area, that's for sure. Actually, it looks less out of John Wick and more like out of Max Payne 3 when he goes through that club. They've also got inverted flight controls and it's throwing me off. Let's go this way. What's over here? Oh, God, Jesus! Oh, there's another dance floor. This is the Cloud Bar? Probably only 50 grand for a shot of urine. What's this way? Who are these guys? Who do you know here? How much did you pay? Why can't I go there? This can't be the whole facility, right? Just this one area? Oh my god, fix your controls. Oh no, there's multiple dance floors. I think. No. Wait, that's not multiple dance floors. I just went back to the same one. Looks like there's another bar. Oh no, wait, this is where I started. This is the smallest venue of all time. What? Oh no, wait, here's something kind of cool. Oh my god, it's like a bad point and click game. No, this really is just an extremely small venue. 100K for drinks in a 2-bedroom apartment with a dance floor. Yeah, more or less. I think, again, I do think those are two separate places. But I bet the prices there aren't any better.
So you buying a brand new car or what?
Yeah, I think I want to get one of those. I think it's gonna be a Porsche. I think it's gonna be that. It's between the 992 911 GT3, the 991 911 GT3, or that GT4, the Cayman or whatever.
Well, I severely advise against, but it's up to you, man.
Advise against all of them or the GT4?
Just Porsche in general. I think I'm gonna farm a lot of haters and a lot of question marks, but it's fine. Don't listen to them. Porsche sell at market price, not at MSRP. You know, so like a lot of times you're gonna pay like incredible markups, like crazy markups, always.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it annoys the fuck out of me.
I mean, it'll probably come down to like if I'm having to drop over like 400 grand on one of these, it's probably not going to happen. If the cost is too much, obviously I wouldn't. But these seem to be like the cars that I'm looking at in like this kind of price range ish. These I see everybody saying really positive things about all these cars or these three basically.
Yeah, I mean it's an engineering it's like a marvel. It's like these are like the best cars, you know. But it depends on what you like in cars, you know. It seems like you're more of a classy guy, you know. So sure.
Well, I like zoomery. Should I say zoomery? I like I don't know what you're say. I like cars that are fast. I like relatively unique cars. I guess Porsches aren't really that unique, but I like my manual transmissions. I like really stick handling. These seem like, yeah, I don't know. They just seem like amazing cars to drive.
Yeah, I mean, I get bands though. This is just my perspective. Okay, and it's just how it goes, you know. But for where you live, for what you like doing, for what the car is going to be doing on a daily basis, right? And the feel you want for it, and a good driver experience, I feel like getting like a sportsy, high-end like BMW could probably be a super good choice too.
I think that BMWs are really, really nice cars for what they are.
Yeah,
personally, I just don't like boxy-looking cars ever, or like kind of ordinary-looking cars. Like, I feel like if I was a 6-year-old and you showed me, like, a BMW versus, like, literally any copy-pasted car ever, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's a car. Like, that's what I feel like. I like more aggressively styled cars, I think.
That's how I feel about Porsches.
What?
That's how I feel about Porsches. It's like...
No, I think if you were a 6-year-old and you saw a Porsche, you'd be like, wow, that looks like a race car.
Wait, really?
Compared to the BMWs, yeah, for sure.
Oh, compared to the BMW, yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a Corvette looking or like a Ferrari looking or a Lamborghini looking car, but I think they're more aggressively styled. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I mean, what's your budget on that car anyway?
Realistically, I feel like I don't think I would, and it even hurts to think I don't think I would spend more than 250K on a car. My current car is 40K, so I want to get like a real car because I'm kind of wealthy, but
yeah, you're gonna be you're gonna be limited on the Porsches with that. No, yeah, I went to like when I was car shopping way back, and even these days, I went to like dealerships, and it's really hard to get like a good like you know, like one of those like high-end Porsches or whatever for a good price. They upsell those like fucking crazy.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, I'll see what the market looks like for them.
Which one? You said the GT4?
The GT3. The Cayman I think is a lot cheaper, right? If I can find one of these, if I want to get a Cayman. But the 992, the 911 GT3s basically, the 992 or the 991.
No, not the RS, right?
I don't fucking know what that is.
I mean GT3 RS or just GT3?
GT3. Is the RS better, or is that like another? Isn't
yeah,
the RS?
I mean,
I read, isn't that like
RS
exclusively
like,
for track or whatever?
Yeah, the RS goes fucking absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Yeah, GT3 normal. Yeah, that's really nice. It's one Soda has.
Does he like it? Is he happy that he got it?
Oh yeah, he loves it.
Jesus, this looks hella expensive.
The RS, I just bought one.
Do you drive yet?
No, it's a gift.
Okay. Do you like it? I don't know what that means.
Oh, I mean, I know it's a good car, you know. I've been in one and whatnot, but it's just a gift for my brother. Like I'll show you.
Can your brother? Can he? Oh shit. Well, listen, if he can't drive, just go ahead and pass it over here until he's ready for it. All right.
Hold on. I need to get
Fuck you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you see it?
See what? Oh, on your stream?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, shit, this fucking. But that's the fucking that's the RS. It's like it's just hard to get, but the GT3 is really nice though. Oh yeah, especially with the new spoiler they have on the GT3 these days, it's so nice. Hold on, I shall chat the more GT3. Yeah, I really like it. I mean, is this just for like city driving, or whatever? You want to look at driving city, or whatever?
I mean, it's probably gonna be my daily driver, but I don't drive much anyway. When I do drive, probably 50-50 between like driving locally versus driving at least an hour away. So it just depends.
Let's say.
But also just like I like cars, so and I've never spent more than my current car, which is 40K. So.
Yeah. Chad, how much did Soda pay for his GT3? Wasn't it like 325, 350? I don't.
Is
I
it
don't.
for brand new or?
Oh yeah, brand new. Yeah. Yeah. You paid 300. Yeah.
Listen, it's a buyer's market for cars right now.
Oh, stop, dude. DSP Andy. Dude, let's say you bought your car for like your top budget, right? And like a week later, you were to like total it, or it gets crashed into. How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only reason why I haven't bought like an expensive car. So.
Yeah, I feel like if that's how you feel about it, you should lower your budget. That's my rule of thumb a little bit.
Whoa.
I know it sounds dumb. I don't know. It's just like you wanna like own and use things and you feel comfortable doing it, you know? And it feels like if you're always on edge about like it being a liability and whatever, it's just I don't know. It's not as fun.
I don't think I'd feel on edge or feel like it's a liability, but I would just feel like shit if I if I crashed and totaled it.
Yeah. It's just personal philosophy. It's not a global thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was gonna buy like a really nice I was gonna get the Lambo STO, and they were talking about like how much it would cost for it to crash, and if it's like if I break the bumper or whatever, how much it costs to replace whatever. And then I realized like yeah, it's not worth it for me, you know. Like I don't want to drive around. Like
Yeah, if you think it's going to, it's like playing poker without a bankroll, right? Like
Yeah,
you sit at the
don't like
table
it.
and yeah, of course, because you actually change the way you play it.
Yep. What other car were you looking at initially?
I think the biggest thing keeping me away from this is honestly a perfect car for me, is that Lotus Emira, because it looks cool. It's like a unique car. I like unique cars as much as that makes, like, as much as is reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently there's like the nearest dealership is in fucking London. Like you're kind of fucked apparently over here if you buy one.
Yeah, they're definitely rare, yeah.
The Corvettes look nice. Honestly, I don't mind the mid-engine Corvettes, but I feel like I can probably afford better.
Yeah, it's a way too classic.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a car where, like, if I total it, it's like, oh fuck, I got 780K. But also, I'm not trying to think of cars I can total because I've never been in a car accident before. I don't think I'm gonna total whatever I get. But
yeah, but when you have a nice car, and people can challenge. Are you?
Are you?
So my league game was just, this guy just wouldn't fucking die. I might punch a fucking piece of plastic. Oh my fucking god, that's so cancer. Jesus. Yeah, what were we saying?
Why'd you die so early? Isn't it bad for your CS?
I got exhausted and the damage was just wouldn't come out. Like, it just never ended. Like, holy fuck.
Oh, did they change the summoner spell recently, or?
Nah, it just lasted longer than I expected to, you know? Just expected like my last auto to hit normal damage and it didn't. What is, yeah, what is the last thing I said? Oh, you said? Oh yeah, Miami. Like, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is my personal experience. Like, sometimes I feel like people like they know you have like a nice car or whatever, and they like challenge you and they kind of weird on the road. It's puts me on edge.
Oh, like people that want to race?
Nah. I mean, yeah, that's for sure.
Or people that want to rob you?
No, not just rob you. Like, just other drivers like they can get like hostile and shit. It's just what it is, you know.
Oh damn. Okay. Maybe I haven't been in this price range before. So like in my RS, usually it's just other guys in like STIs or Golf Rs or whatever. They're like, oh bro, it's an RS, cool. And I'm like, yeah, bro, cool. And that's it.
Classic.
But again, it's like the 30 to 50. No, it's like the 20 to 40K like car. maybe for the higher ones, maybe people get a lot more ass mad or ass pained about it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was Alright, this guy's fucking dog shit. I'm reporting him.
Based.
Just minion damage. Yeah, I know it's like in Miami. You know, a very nice score. But I mean, everybody's nice scores in Miami. It's just gonna. It's like I like.
Yeah, but I'm not. It's just stuff that I like, not comparing to other people. Most guys here don't even like cars. They just buy it for like a status thing.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, but you know, these days I feel like people are always gonna, you know, see as like a flex or whatever. It's like even initially when I couldn't even drive them, you know, I just wanted like I have something nice, you know.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I'm hearing what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to sit in it and enjoy it, you know, because I always want to have a nice car.
Okay.
But I don't want to spend time to get a license. I just want to have a nice car and own it, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. Just to sit in it and also smelling it. I think that's a big deal. So yeah, I like a lot is getting a new car and like, you know, just taking the smell of it. Like a nice, brand new, cool sports car, like the nice smell on the seats or whatever. That kind of goes hard. You like that? The smell of new cars?
A little bit, yeah.
Only a little bit?
I've only had like 2 new cars in my life, so. But sure, yeah.
Yeah, that factory smell does go harder. Yeah, apparently there's the Tesla new car smell is so strong that people were complaining. Some people even tried to fucking open up a lawsuit against them because of it, because he got in an accident. Because it smells so intense.
Huh.